Hello, and welcome once again. If this is the second time you're tuning into my channel today, I am your androgynous android game show host from the future, Nathan Blades, and this is the Neoncaster Twitch channel with the third session of our Blades in the Dark mini campaign, Escape to the Void Sea. We have our crew here once again, but actually let's go and introduce our GM first this time. Returning to the GM table, we have the illustrious Draco. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. It's wonderful to be back again.
And going from left to right on the screen, we have on the left here, in the delightful pork pie hat, Ruben playing Fish.
Happy birthday, Nathan!
It is indeed my birthday today. Thank you. It's been really good. Caster was having a fun time streaming Monster Hunter Rise earlier, and now we are going to go into some dice rolling, my other favorite thing. We once again have the delightful Cap'n here playing Basque.
Pretend I said something clever. I don't know. I never know what to do with these.
That's fine. It's great.
Oh my god, that was so fucking clever.
Meta humor, Dadaist introductions. We love it. We love that for us. And last but by absolutely no means least, we have Tom returning once again as Dashia Locklear.
Hello, everybody. Hope we're all having a good weekend.
I'm having a very good weekend. Just before, while I was, when we finished the Monhunt stream, and I had like the hour in between, I both placed a food order for myself, because who wants to go and cook on their birthday? It arrived late, so I'm going to try my best not into the mic. And if you hear like faint mukbang sounds, I'm very, very sorry. But also I got to put on a record for some M&EK and absolutely throw shapes to just kind of get my energy levels back up. So we're riding high. Yes. We're high energy. I guess we're going to be going and doing the actual last time on in the game itself. So I'm just going to go and move us over to the game screen and go and give it a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And Draco, take it away.
Hello, contestants. Once again, my name is Draco Alexander, and I'm the Game Master for the Escape to the Void Sea miniseries. Our story is set in Blades in the Dark's primary location, the city of Duskfall. Our Dark Jewel of Alcoros, however, has taken a few steps forward, both culturally and technologically. The Victorian trappings are all still there. Brickwork buildings faced with wrought iron fences line the streets, and the ever-present darkness of the shattered sun is abated only by buzzing electroplasmic lamps. In our Duskfall, however, a new iteration of the semi-magical technology known as the Electrovox allows anyone with a large enough antenna and a bit of electrical know-how to broadcast whatever sound waves they like across the city. Our view of the city, covered in mist from the constant rain and the hum of electroplasmic lights, swoops down onto Brightstone, home of many of the wealthiest and most influential citizens of Duskfall. Unlike much of the city, its streets are broad and well paved with bright lights all about to light the sparkling, clean canals. The houses here are all of fine, pale marble blocks, rich timbers, and intricate ironworks, with radiant, energy-fed parks cultivated near lavish restaurants and cafes, jewelers, tailors, and other luxury shops. To keep up such stately appearances, however, street-side vendors are forbidden here, resulting in a serene, spacious atmosphere punctuated at this hour only by the occasional carriage or marching bluecoat patrol. As we zoom in even closer, we land in the back alley behind just one such cafe on the south side of the district, the Bean and Gone Coffee, a swanky little standing room only place where our muck-covered crew hope to find a bit of solace before beginning the next leg of their journey. With that, would you all like to introduce your characters for those contestants just joining us?
Go first, please, Basque, and we can go from right to left. Thank you.
Okay. I'm playing Basque. He's a big punchy man who, I guess to people's surprise, doesn't always punch unless it's really, really necessary.
Puncher in a heart of gold.
Go for it, Fish.
Hello, I am Fish, or Draught, I am seeking answers to the riddle of humanity here in Duskfall, but first and most pressingly, I'm looking to survive.
Yes. Hi everybody, I'm playing Dash. Well, Dash here. Dash being her very secret code name. The group's primary supernatural support and resident street urchin.
Oi, oi. How you all doing? My name is Arthur Luxley, although I go by AU, like gold, on account of the fact that I had a deal with the devil and now all my bones are electroplated. I mean, it gives me a winning smile, but I conduct electricity a little too well. And considering we were lost in a sewer where the smallest spark could have caused the biggest explosion, I've been a little stressed recently. But we still all have our necks, and hopefully, where we're heading to next, to my rival, or Angie's place, we might be able to clear our names somewhat. Or it's going to get us into even more trouble. I'm not even quite sure yet.
But before you journey on to Aunt Angie's, it's time to clean yourselves up a bit, do a little bit of downtime, spend an hour just shaking yourself loose. As you've just knocked on the back door of the Bean and Gone, the door cracks open a little bit, and a gentleman, sort of middle aged, a little tired in the eyes, but projecting a cheerful surface, suddenly loses his smile when he sees who's standing out behind his shop. Hey, what's going on? I heard a lot. This is Fletcher Hare, the owner of the shop, and he kind of eyes all four of you with a little bit of suspicion, a little bit of gladness to see that you're all alive and still kicking, but also some curiosity as to what exactly has brought you to be in this state.
Oi, 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 Fletcher, it ain't like that. It ain't like that. You know me. You know the business that I like to run. We do a clean business, unless it's in the back and then it gets a bit dirty. But none of that is violent. You know me. This is much more complicated than what the rumour mill will tell you. But what we do need is an opportunity to sit down, please.
All right, well, come on inside. There's some space in the back room. And
we
he's
smell
going
awful,
to.
don't we? We were just
Oh
running
yeah,
around in the sewer for a while.
He very much stands in your way to prevent you from making contact with the customers who are more upfront.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only a short hop to the back room that he has here, but you can definitely see a little bit of a party atmosphere in the style of the Great Gatsby, shall we say?
Mm-hmm.
It's all tuxedos and bespangled dresses, and while there is coffee a-flowing, there is an equal measure of champagne and other similar sparkling drinks. That you have been prevented from joining in a polite but firm manner by Fletcher.
Trail of mucky footprints from the back door to the central area.
Oh yeah, I think I discarded all clothing last session, so I'm just like, I got cling film around me, and that's everything I'm wearing. So I'm just wandering in, leaving sewage behind me.
Yeah, you need to wear something else.
I don't understand. I'm wearing something.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be super good at keeping a low profile with your human normalcy.
I see.
Yeah, Fletcher is boggling quite a bit at this because while your status as a mostly human person is quietly understood, it's a little different to be faced with it directly.
Can I help you? You're staring quite obviously.
I was about to ask if I could help you. I think we've got. Let me go check the courtroom.
Oh, could you get me some any spare bandages? Says Dash, waving slightly. Some remembrance from last session as using sculpt checks through sewers probably means she's even worse cover than the rest of the party.
There's a first aid kit in the. There's a first aid kit, and he kind of waves vaguely at one of the walls in the storage room.
Little witch, are you hurt? I will tend
No.
to you.
No, I'm fine. I just need to replace my with the bandages that are covering most of her, well, pretty much most of her under the canvas poncho. Just need to recover up again.
Are you holding up, Bask? You alright?
I'm tired. I smell. I am fine, I guess. Beyond that, Bask is he's kind of tired of a lot of this, and I think he's extra annoyed by the Gatsby-esque party that's happening around him, and he would probably go as fast as he could to the back room just to be away from it.
Yeah. Arthur's actually a little sad to see you so stressed. Obviously, we have good reason for all of us to be stressed in our current circumstances, but it's all kind of like, oh man. I think Arthur very politely puts a hand behind Fish and Dashia and just kind of gently pushes them into the back. God, I hope there's a shower back here.
It's in 1 week.
Yeah, stepping into this backspace, it is a combination of storage area and janitorial closet, with one corner of it being one of those wonderfully gross sort of floor level hemmed in sink areas with tile all around it, so that you can generally fill mop buckets and things with it, but certainly functional for cleaning yourselves up. It's a few minutes before Fletcher returns with what is a very expensive but also very fake ermine coat. Those sorts of creatures haven't existed in this world for quite some time, so there's no way that it's real, right? But he'll hand it over to Fish once they're clean enough to receive it.
Is it okay? The kind of coat I'm imagining is the one that Macklemore wears in this video of was it First Store?
I'm imagining. Do you remember the scene in Anastasia where all of the different fake Anastasias are coming to audition for the part, and you have the one debutante who's just like, "It's me, darling, Anastasia." That big overfilled that one.
Oh
That's
my
the
God.
coat that I imagine he just handed over.
So it's like the collar extends so far back up her neck that you just see it's like there's no back of the head. There's just a hat on top of a collar at this point.
Looked like a fancy pigeon.
Yeah, it looked like a fancy pigeon. I go, Ruku.
All right. Well, not to dig, but you said it's not what it looks like. News has been getting around, mate. Angie's been broadcasting for the last several hours, and you know how we are. We all talk to each other. We all send out messengers to pick up supplies.
Oh my God.
What's your story? What's going on?
Please don't tell me that she's stirring the pot. Right.
No, actually, the last report she did, she hasn't been on air in about an hour. It's just been music on her channel. So now we're all just kind of in the dark.
There's a pause. Considering tea time with Angie is like back to back gossip. The fact that they're taking an extended music break is very unusual. Actually, we were planning on paying her a bit of a visit. My radio station is a little far away from where we currently are. You get what I mean? So we figured an opportunity to go on air and clear our names is a thing. Anyway, and he kind of, I'm not going to do it on mic, but like generally recounts from our perspective the fateful night at the racetrack. Arthur pauses before talking about the demon and then decides to kind of just omit that part of the story entirely, and says that there was a smoke grenade distraction caused by Fish. Things got complicated We managed to leave, and then we found a gun was placed in Bask's pocket. But yeah, Arthur does not mention the fact that we summoned a demon, because that doesn't help.
The idea there's probably a moment of Dash about talk and getting a hand clamped over her mouth before she.
Something like that. I'm more than happy to roll for that if that would be.
Oh no, I think it just works in.
No, I mean the I meant more my story rather than roll to silence comrade.
He will bite you.
You know what? Go ahead and give me a roll for it, because that'll help us determine exactly how this short downtime that we're about to do pays off.
I think this is
Just to kind of get us
because
going.
we're specifically trying to get shelter and resources out of a contact. I'd like to roll consort.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have reduced effect because I am still. I had very, very powerful cold brew poured into me to kind of rouse me from my kind of small stress break. So I am level 1 harm buzzing right now, so my effect is reduced to note. So what is my position and effect?
So your position, we're going to go ahead and put you in risky position, and it would have been standard, but since you are at reduced effect, we're going to put it at limited.
Okay.
Would anybody like to throw some help at AU to try and bring that up to a standard effect, or give some extra dice or anything?
Unfortunately, I cannot assist. I am one stress away of having a funny little breakdown.
Okay.
I think I'll hold off. I don't think I can actually help in this situation. That would just make it worse.
It's fine.
Might be able to whip it to desperate for you to push.
No. I'll take the risky limited. Okay, let's go. Mixed is fine. Mixed success is fine. We take those.
All right. Well, listen, I can't house you for very long, but you can at least use the resources that are available to you back here, and I'm going to have to ask you to please leave through the back when you do leave. Otherwise, I mean, we're upscale, mate. This is, well, I mean, I can tell you right now, there's a couple of blue coat commanders out the front, and I don't want anything starting. You know what I mean?
Shit. Okay. Yeah.
So just
I mean,
keep your head low. You'll be fine. Nobody else comes back here. If any sort of hanky-panky happens, it happens in the coat room up front. It's much cleaner. So you should be good for an hour or so, let's say.
Yeah. At the very least, since we're union comrades, if there are any, to suppose this about the world, if I may.
Sure, go for it. Let's see what you got.
Been and gone, pretty fine. They decided to go up market, where the Golden Hour coffee house that we run is a bit more kind of like a indie intentionally. But this shift to upmarket is relatively new, and the staff are not necessarily trained in like knowledge aristocracy. So
okay.
They're trying, they're getting there, but this is a relatively new enterprise. And Arthur's like, well, I know what you were saying at the last meeting that we had, that any kind of additional info about serving your new clientele is of use to you. If anybody runs into a difficult customer and you don't know what to do, I'm available after I finish looking after my mates.
All right. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Why don't you go?
Will do. And he scuttles his way off. So let's go ahead and go through the various downtime things that we need to do to finish up and start our next leg of our adventure. Let's say we're going to go a flat 2 rep here to the gang, or to the crew, excuse me. Just because the people that you faced the last time were approximately on tier with you. And it wasn't a silent operation because certain ears are definitely going to know about what happened down in the sewers, what with your encounter with the ghostly presence, as well as your bump in with the Sparkrights and the near collapse of a tunnel. So, not quite silent. I am going to go ahead and say that in the act of performing that ritual that you did to get rid of that little small ghost colony that was down there, between the little ritual fidgets that were picked up there, some gear that you might have looted from the Sparkrights just in that scuffle, and then a couple of the things that Fish picked up, which is the reason we now have the Mr. Bingles arrives clock. I'm going to say you now have an additional 4 coin worth of materials at your at your disposal.
Mhm.
Disposal? I don't know if that's the
Yeah,
word.
at your disposal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
right, yeah.
Sorry. I started writing the first chapter of a new book this last week, and so
You're
there
out
are
of
too many.
words.
There are too many words in the world.
Your supply of words has been depleted. Yes.
I recently I miswrote hustle with double S, and I later found out that's not how you write hustle, and I had just a breakdown over that, so I totally get it. Writers are just being a writer does things to your brain.
Oh, it absolutely does. Okay, I believe we're already maxed out on the heat track for reasons that happened in episode 1.
That's good, right?
Oh, just being pinned
What?
for the assassination of the highest ranked member of the underworld in the city might have a few things to say about your heat track.
What, you're telling me that all the chaos we've caused since then hasn't brought down the heat? Nonsense.
You're keeping such a low profile.
We're off that cold brew. We're hot only.
Okay, so let's double check what your wanted level is actually at.
More than we'd like, but less than we think.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice to be popular.
We're cementing, the city's parasocial relationships to the Golden Hour brand. We may have done something problematic today, but if we apologize about it in the newspapers, then they'll just forget.
This is like when you find out your favorite true crime podcast has actually committed murders, but you're like, well, how do we relate to this?
We ran out of episode material, and so we had to just kind of create our own.
No.
Our
Shouldn't have taken a drink during that.
our Underworld segment has become very realistic for reasons our lawyer says we can't disclose.
That's really good, though. Genuinely, there's another mystery mini campaign that I want to run at some point in the future, and I was like, what kind of mystery hooks could I potentially use? And the idea of a true crime podcast doing their own crimes is so fucking funny.
It's
yours if you want it.
Thank you.
Anyone who starts a campaign like that now is sus, and we're going to take you down. PMCA immediately.
Okay, so I'm just going to have somebody... Oh, I remember how we did this the last time. Because of the ridiculous amount of heat on everybody, I had everybody roll a die for it. And we just kind of determined what was going on that way. So if we could, starting with... let's just go alphabetical. AU, if you could roll me a 1d6 and we'll find out what happens.
Absolutely, my dear. Roll fortune. With a single die. Indeed. It is a 1. Shit.
That's a good, right? You want low on your fortune?
Here, in this case, yes, you do in fact want it to be low.
Okay. I was sweating.
So, you can either be wanted for interrogation or have one of your contacts, patrons, clients, or a group of customers flipped to another gang.
I want to be wanted for interrogation. I think that would be appropriate for what we're going to be going forwards dramatically. So yeah.
Okay, I will make a note of that then. Bosk, if you could roll a fortune roll for me next.
The fortune button is below Shrewd Friends. If you, it's hidden.
like we're going to have to fit this somewhere. Where should we put the button?
You know what to say. You have to seek your own fortune.
2.
Okay, so similar question for you. Interrogation, or would you like to have one of your contacts flipped?
I had interrogation last time, so I feel like let's just keep that one going because it worked out for me.
Okie dokie. So you now have the crew of people of Bluecoats who's after you is growing. So okay. Next up is Miss Dash.
She's very bored of these low numbers. I think she's going to go for a 6. Oh.
No.
Oh, that was a lie.
Curses. Yep, same options, I'm guessing. I've already had one of my contacts flipped, so I don't think I've got another one spare. So it probably also have to be increasing. Lots of people want to talk to us at the moment.
Yeah, they definitely want the scoop. I mean, that's better than them wanting us dead, so, you know. This is alright.
There's just a small task force forming to find y'all, isn't there? Okay, and Fish?
Well, seeing as I'm wearing, big Prada coat, we rocking that Gucci lifestyle, high roller, high numbers. We don't take ones, we don't take twos. Let's go. Get that high number.
-1.
There we go.
It's a single die, not 0.
I cheated. Shit. Let's try that again.
Knows you were cheating.
It was a fake coat.
Do we just want to round that out and y'all just have a whole police house after you at this point, wanted for interrogation.
Just want to talk.
My coat immediately slides off my body and will not stay on no matter how many tries I try to wear it.
It's fine. We do like a cinching belt in the middle to kind of keep it there.
I'm not worthy of this, Gucci.
Oh goodness. Okay, I'll have fun with that later.
All right. I want to have a little round robin. Is anyone experiencing harm?
I currently have a level 1 harm of buzzing. The caffeine you poured into me to revive me is kind of giving me the shakes right now.
I can probably help with that because I can just make an antidote with my tinkering skills if you would like.
I also have a painful graze from way back in session 1 from scratching my leg when doing aerial gymnastics.
That feels like a more important thing to heal a physical wound. So I would prefer you take presence over healing dash over me.
Gotcha. Draco, we all have like 2 downtime actions. Healing a party member is one of them, right?
Let's just go ahead and take a look at that. I believe so, yes.
All right.
Yes, recover. You can roll Tinker or use an NPC's quality to fill a PC's healing clock. So since you are assisting with this, that would be an extra die in filling your healing clock.
Oh, but it's the person himself has to roll it.
Correct.
Okay. Then, we'll just Tom, are you gonna use one action to heal you? Because then I can assist you with that.
Yeah, no, I'll probably do that then if we've got a couple.
Gotcha. Not a action per se, but I do want to just have a little tete-a-tete with Bosk, but that can just be within the hour, so we just can do the downtime actions right now with everyone.
Well, if one of you is relieving stress, then that conversation can be the scene under which you relieve stress, so you can fold that in.
Exactly.
Okay. I have an idea about that. You know those latrines that extend over a canal, and they just have a little hole in the floor that leads directly to the water?
Huh. No, but now I know.
Yeah.
Now you know. Well,
those are in fact not toll booths.
My obligation, my stress relief, my vice is going fishing. So I'd like to go fishing in that, because it's the only thing I can think of in a coffee house over a canal. Can I make that a thing?
The only fishing hole available in the building down the latrine. I see. You can
Yeah.
sneak out the
It's
back.
just like ice fishing, but different.
It's yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Gross. But also probably nutritious in the most horrible way.
Ah,
Oh, grim.
Very grim. Well, I could probably just go outside, but if there's a small army of police officers after us, then I'd probably have to not do that.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'd like to have just a very sad scene of fish in a like magnificent fur coat, just just angling into a latrine. And just that's can I roll stress? Can I have this be over?
Sure, go for it. So one thing I will mention that we have not made use of in the past for downtime activities is that you can throw coin at increasing the effectiveness level of your downtime activities. So if you wanted to perhaps use some of those resources that you just picked up in the last section, you could possibly push even a weak roll into something very high, including a critical.
Mm.
Interesting. Okay, but I'll keep that in mind for later. I right now have 0 bonus dice, I believe. Yeah, because it's just in a normal indulge dice roll, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 5.
Pretty good.
Okay, so I clear 5 stress.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Nice! That puts me down to 3. I like that. I like that a lot.
I'm no longer going to have a heart attack. Yay!
I also in the game. I was so worried.
Mm.
No, that's great. I emerge from the latrine a new fish.
Having obtained a new fish for your fish decks.
Yeah, there is like it is a. I think the catch is like a pristine rainbow trout, not a fish that is like not even native to the land. Upon closer inspection, it's just a normal trout that swam through industrial oil waste that now has a rainbow gleam. But you have to pretend, you have to indulge fish
It
and say like,
counts.
oh, that's
It
a
counts.
great catch.
It's fine.
Great catch, fish. You're doing so well, honey.
Just still got the toilet block holder around its neck, unfortunately, from where you've pulled it up.
For some reason, the fish has a piece of toilet paper.
Oh.
I mean, that'll clean and cook right up. It'd be fine.
I'm
Adds
absolutely
fiber.
not eating that.
No, that's fiber.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's the rule. Come on.
And this
Yes,
thing
that's
is
the main
dangerous.
concern. This thing will probably kill you.
Gotta train.
got-
Gotta have a training arc to eat the toilet fish.
I'm sure they've got a lovely kitchen here.
I
But yeah,
look, Arthur. It's kind of. Do you know how hard they had to work to get this place up to food standard code? Please don't.
you mean I have to release this fish?
I mean,
I can't cook for you?
But there's a weird kind of like moment of like, is it like appropriative to be asking a Leviathan about their relationship to other ocean entities? I mean, I think they probably too many cooks spoil the broth, as they say. So maybe not interrupting the very precise menu that they put together.
I heard that there was a sort of cuisine where they do the fish raw.
Interesting. Let's
Gross.
try it out. I bite into the fish.
I mean, for you, it's nothing. You know, like this is just a meal. You're fish. You know, you don't need it to be cooked.
Medium-bodied, with a slight citric aftertaste. You're missing out.
That's probably the toilet block, that citric aftertaste, but you do you.
It's spiritus.
I'm glad that joke went down well.
Yeah, no, that's and I guess that concludes my first action.
Okay, awesome. I love it. If you have a second action that you want to take, I'm not going to count assisting as your second action, just because that doesn't seem to me to be fair.
Okay.
You know.
Do we want to go like everyone does one, and then we just round robin back to the second, or do we just
Sure,
want
that
Yeah,
works.
good
Yeah,
work.
that sounds fair.
I wouldn't mind using this opportunity because we're going to be going to Aunt Angie's and have access to an Electrovox machine. The gears in Arthur's brain are already kind of like turning about how to best use that. So he's going to take a moment to kind of work on his antennives, the throwing knives that he has with the kind of radio antennas attached to the handles. So I don't know how kind of like those type of tinker roles like go, but spending some coin to kind of give them an additional function that we might decide what that additional function is when they come in handy.
Well, I was going to say, do we want to roll this as if it was an acquire asset roll and see if you could maybe improve their quality?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Okay.
How do we go about that, friend?
So let's just look at it. So for an acquire asset, it's you have to roll your crew's tier to determine the relative quality of a temporary asset.
Mhm.
That's how this is normally supposed to work.
If you'd rather it done another way, I'm down.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Let's go ahead and have you roll Tinker, and I will allow you to throw coin at it to represent, to increase the number of dice you have, to kind of show, like using your own resources or those offered by the Bean and Gone to help improve these things. Maybe you grab some cutlery from a nearby, clean tub or something like that and add on to their spininess. I don't know. Let's roll some dice about it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. I actually have no points in Tinker. If I was building the character I normally kind of build, the Tinker would be quite high, and I've decided to try and play against type. So we're going to be spending a coin, 1 coin, to raise my dice roll by what? Is the table okay with me spending 2 coin?
I have no problem with that.
No problem. No.
How much coin do we have?
I think we have 4 from this particular excursion, so there's another 2 coin floating.
Okay. No, that's fine. Go ahead.
Plus whatever you might have had on you when this whole thing started.
Yeah, I can't recall whether Blades in the Dark lets you start with some coin. Anyway, it doesn't matter. we're not gonna get into the weeds about inventory management because that's really not what this game is.
Nah.
All right.
Now that's the audience comes for. Detailed talk about paperwork.
I once played my first Dungeons and Dragons campaign, the 3.5 thing. I was joining and one already in progress, and they apparently had like a property mini game going, and I don't. To sit in a session while everybody else is basically doing fucking Zoo Tycoon, and you're like, I'm just a guy.
Editor, leave the dice rolls in.
Is there any position and effect for this Tinker roll?
No, this is just going to be a simple roll.
Cool.
I'm
I will
basically
ignore
for...
those bits and pieces and then add 2 bonus die. Duh. I didn't do the little virtual dice roll. It doesn't matter though. I got a 5.
You did get a 5. Okay. So we are going to call that limited success. So you managed to get 1 antennive at higher quality. So basically, you can choose to use your higher quality one anytime you would use one of your antennives. But once it's been used, there's a decent chance you're not going to be able to retrieve it.
I will. It is a 1 load thing. Yes. Cool. The little character sheet lets you add additional items, so I'll add in my antennive. Thank you.
Okie dokie.
Let's see. What does that look like in narrative? So Arthur gets his pack of tools kind of out, being kind of like, if I just have to sit here for an hour twiddling my thumbs, I'm going to go absolutely spare. So I suppose I should try and work on something useful in it. And we have, I think one of the things in this kind of storage closet is brasso, if you're familiar with that. You use it to kind of polish metals, usually stuff like copper and brass, to make it shinier and cleaner. And so this is kind of essentially going over all the contact points on the electrics in this thing and getting it nice and shiny and in good condition for use later.
That's great. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. So, Bosk, what's your first downtime activity then?
oof, I gotta get rid of some stress. So I would love to indulge a vice. So my question to you is, do I have to search this place for another bottle of booze, or can we just assume I kept the one from the last time?
Well, here's the thing. You are in a cleaning closet, and as anyone who does any modicum of historical research knows, Listerine was originally a floor cleaner, and it is highly alcoholic.
Oh boy.
Before that, um,
You're not that debased yet, apparently. Okay.
wait for it. Actually, could I get a roll to see if, like, maybe the cleaning staff hide like a flask back here?
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure, go for it.
Now, what kind of roll would that be?
That's a
You tell me.
Study or a
Fine.
survey, maybe?
Study or prowl, maybe?
Oh, to steal it, sure.
Actually, hold on. I kind of feel like hunt would be appropriate, but I have nothing in hunt.
Well, you tell me what you want to roll. That's how this system works. Unlike so many others, it is very descriptive, not prescriptive.
Mm.
So, hypothetically, you're using hunt in a way to do X to get Y. So, yeah, go and tell what you're using
like
hunt for.
hunt, I think is the most appropriate, but I do have nothing in hunt.
So we rolled 2,
can I
take the
spend-
lowest.
Can I spend coin to increase this though?
Yes, you could.
So is everyone cool with me spending that coin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go for it.
Sweet. Position?
We're going to call this a controlled position.
Huzzah. Standard effect?
Correct.
Sweet. And no bonus dice, it's just a normal roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have... Well, since I'm asking this because I have nothing in hunt, do I have to... How do I tell the game to not roll?
Oh, so once you enter into hunt and then you do your position and effect, it's going to ask how many bonus dice you're adding. So you just add
Set that to
one.
1.
Mhm.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Cool. Oop.
There we go. A 2! Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Well, you can either stop tearing apart this back room that you've been so graciously allowed to stay in and just accept your floor cleaner, or you can continue doing so at a riskier position.
Floor cleaner it is!
You got that
A
wonderful.
quick swig will be fine.
I think Dash with a mounting look of horror on her face as she realizes what you're doing. Oh, at least let me assist with that. Maybe water it down a bit so you don't go blind.
Sure.
What is your stress currently at, by the way, Bask?
Hold on. You're asking me basic edition now. 7.
7, okay. So you technically can't overindulge because it would be if you like go over, then bad things happen to you.
Yeah,
it would definitely happen narratively that you go drink the Listerine if you overindulge. It doesn't go well for you, but it seems that you're currently stressed enough where you do not care. So,
well, yeah, which one I'm like, yeah, screw it, let's go. Quick swig, it'll be fine. So no bonus die.
Dash just covering her eyes, and I'm not watching him do this.
Indulge, baby.
Haha.
Pretty good.
Average amount.
So, much to your satisfaction and or possibly still horror, it turns out that this was the hidden bottle of hooch that you were looking for. It was just labeled as floor cleaner, and in fact turns out to be this world's equivalent of Mad Dog 4040. With
sneaky bastards.
Yeah, it's the blue tropical flavor.
Right, okay. I was going to say, you're going to have to explain to me, but I now
Sorry,
understand exactly what kind of alcohol that is with the flavoring you've given. So.
Yep. It is it's sometimes referred to as hobo wine here in the States. Dirt cheap, available everywhere, and in all of the electric colors you can think of, and far too sweet. So yeah, no, it's yay. I love messing with people. But yeah, so yeah, go ahead and relieve your 4 stress.
Done and done.
Does Bask does he know how to take alcohol? Like is he a lightweight or he can handle him?
No, he's not a lightweight. I've like based upon the actions I've had in this game, he's kind of a concerning drunk at this point.
He's a pretty mean drinker.
There may be a conversation you have to have after this this whole thing is over, but yeah. Ooh. All right, so Dash, what are you gonna crack open your first downtime activity with?
I think she'll probably snuck out to go and grab some stuff from one of our local dead drops. We'll come back with a small bank, which will have a few more rolls of bandage, some medicinal cleaning alcohol, which she will take a look at and hide from Bask, having just seen his behaviour previously with the toilet duck. And some more. Fish. Fish, could you give me a hand? I managed to give myself a few splinters, and I've been running through the sewers, and I should probably do something about it.
Of course. How did these cuts happen? I don't think I was there when you received them.
It was just when I was jumping through the rooftops rafters when we were escaping from the big event. I barely noticed, to be honest. I just, short shrug. And sort of very, very self-consciously sort of take off the regular set of probably less mucky bandages now. And you'll see, like, presumably she's got like a slight graze on there, but for being a little bit more conscious about it, because she's usually got her skin completely covered, because Dash is absolutely covered in tattoos under these bandages for anyone who catches a glance, which probably wriggle very almost uncomfortably if you glance at them for too long. Sort of like arcane sigils and various bits of arcana and the like.
Given Fish's background, would they recognize any pattern?
So it's probably very, very similar to the ritual circles that she do use for summoning, for pulling something through. But she's written them all across her body as well, by the looks of it.
God, you tried to use yourself as a summoning conduit at one point?
Not yet would probably be the... So part of the thing will be her... It's probably also actually noting round sort of the back of the knee, or actually probably as she's... if Fish is paying any particular attention, some bruises, sort of, where you'd, if you to have blood taken or something, sort of the inside of the elbow and things, a few older sort of marks and things there, which, if it was a different character, it might be indicative of, might worry it might be drug abuse, but probably Fish probably knows this is where Dash has been giving herself rather dubious infusions over the past few months.
Right. Yeah, I think Fish and Dash have like they have this in common, so this is probably not as a surprise. But I think like the part of your body where you've like gotten the bruise, I think as Fish is like gently applying the rubbing alcohol and tending to it, I think she asks, "Oh, I haven't seen this one before. I didn't know you were into that ritual." And like she's talking about it as if it were a band. Like, "Oh, you're into this band? You're into this occult shit?"
This, says Dash, will be Dash's magnum opus when it's done. So, which is why I really need to get back to the accommodation to make sure that my project's still in good shape.
Oh, if you need rare inks, you know to call upon me. I can provide.
I'll give you the sort of grin and a thumbs up. And presumably continue with the Medicare. What do I need to roll for medical attention?
Okay, so that is going to be a tinker check. You do have 1 additional die, thanks to Fish's assistance.
Okay. Does Fish have any use for that last coin? Because I might...
I was going to buy something, but you know,
Oh no, they are.
what is property if not?
To be fair, Dash has only got 4 stress, so you know we might as well try and burn through that this session if this doesn't go too well. So we'll just take the tinker roll.
No, it's no. Take the coin. Like I think I can barter with like I did last time, the last coffee shop. It's fine. Take the coin.
Sure. Okay. Submit and standard and B2 bonus dice. Whee.
Oh, 6. Nice.
Very nice. So you'd be able to heal or tick 3 segments on the healing clock.
Okay. Nice. And presumably a bit of fixing of any tattoos that got damaged or scratched during the process.
Okay. So when we arrived here, I did say that you were going to have, or that you'd had a mixed success, and so you had a very short amount of time to spend here. So normally, since we are at war, you would only have 1 action anyway. But if anybody has something that's specific to this area that they could accomplish quickly, we'll use that as our second downtime action here.
Nah. There's nothing that AU specifically wants to achieve.
I do. I want to buy the strongest caffeinated thing this establishment provides.
Okay. Well, since you can't go up front, you're just going to have to kind of look through what they've got within reach of this back room and leave something in exchange for that. And I think you can easily accomplish that. There's since the coffee houses in the city have been unionizing, you've started to use similar materials and storage devices to make sure that everybody, is getting roughly the same quality of product at minimum. And you can recognize a sort of thick-walled brown glass container somewhere between the size of a jar and a jug that is filled with cold brew that's meant to be mixed down in cold drinks.
Word. Okay. I'd like to tap from it and then fill up 2 of my syringes that I have on me. And
Okay.
in exchange, I'll put down the last coin of the party if everyone agrees with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh wait, no, that Tom just used it. Never mind. We don't have it. In exchange, I'm going to put down my hat.
But Bask has coin on him. He can just give you some.
I like that. Like Bosk understands what's going on. Like, oh, this is your idea of a transaction, but no, don't do this. Actually, pay. Pay.
I like to believe you went to your coat to pull something out, and then like that moment of like you realize, oh, I didn't bring my wallet.
I didn't bring my wallet, but my hat means a lot to me, so I will leave them my hat, which should mean a lot to them too. Wait, that's not how it works? Oh. Thank you, Bosk.
I mean, it can, but and he'll put down the coin.
Okay, thank you, Bosk. I actually wanted to tap one of the some caffeine for you because, little manager, you are looking so tired, and I thought you could use something to drink and maybe, buzz up.
Are you
Yeah,
addressing with
sure.
That? Oh well.
So, are you afraid of needles? Actually, no. I think Bosk and Fish have like you're basically a test subject, right? So you're.
Yeah, we've definitely done stuff before. Like
Okay.
I've been your guinea pig.
Hell yeah. Could you show me your arm?
Yeah, he'll take off his jacket and he'll hold his arm, which will lead to something else narratively in a minute. But finish.
I think what I want to do is add a drop of Leviathan blood to the cold brew, and then just have you enjoy that intravenously.
Cool.
So,
It's better by the pint. It's better by the pint. Dash will kick in.
Okay, so what are we trying to accomplish like mechanically here? Like, are we trying to give him a bonus to something through doing this, or to reduce his stress in some way, shape, or form?
So I'm thinking this is gonna be basically overclocking a person. So for physical actions, maybe like a better starting position or a greater effect. I'm not gonna say like, oh, an extra die. That's too much, I think. Um, but just have a boost to whatever next physical action Bask wants to make.
A suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Armor exists as a not literal necessarily use of armor. It's usually expend a point of armor to ignore a negative effect on you. And if this is designed as like some kind of healthy supercharge, then maybe the next kind of like, physical negative effect on Busk is ignored.
Just continue to make me the best tank possible.
Hell yeah.
You're slowly turning into Bane. Okay, yeah, no, I like that. I like that a lot. So go ahead and give yourself a note somewhere that says you have essentially a floating 1 pip of armor.
Cool.
There you go. That should get rid of the tired feeling for a while. And I have a question for you, Bask.
Oh, what's up?
After we're done here and we've restored our reputation, what do you want to do? You're always doing things for us, but what can we do for you?
I don't know. I just want to live. It's a low bar, but it's what I want.
Hey, you drapes an arm over Bask's shoulder from out of frame. Oh, are you considering not working for the Golden Slaughter anymore? We work well together, you and I.
IT asked what I wanted, or they asked what I wanted to do. Like, I don't know. I don't want to do anything. I'm happy where I am. That I don't plan to go anywhere anytime soon.
Well, how about this? Next time I go fishing, and not toilet fishing, join me.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Sounds like a good thing.
Absolutely. And if one of my kin decides to visit, you will have the opportunity to commune with one of the great lords of this universe. But, of course, the fishing trip goes first.
Bass is gonna just pack that one away for later.
Okay,
Look,
then.
Yeah, we ain't got much time to waste. I think time's ticking a little bit, and somebody's gonna wanna come in for a mop or kitchen roll or some shit. So we probably shouldn't give them a nasty surprise.
Narratively, there is technically one other thing that I wish to accomplish during this, like an upgrade Bask had from last session was that he had tattoos placed on his hands, so he can punch ghosts now. And I think we worked out that Dash was the one who was doing that.
Yeah.
And narratively in my head, there's a little bit of retcon where I think this has been a project that's been going on for a little bit, because I think this is probably like a hand poke series of tattoos that go like along the forearm and finishing on just his hands. Like just kind of like, and correct me if I'm wrong of how Dash's magic works. Like I'm thinking just like individual runes going down that when the last one is placed in, like then some kind of thing just forms up the forearm.
I imagine
do everything except the connecting part of the main circle, because that's what puts the spell live. So you finish that part last. Yeah,
absolutely. I like the idea, given that she's been doing maintenance anyway, reach into the bag and pull out a slightly luminous ink. Jumi explained several times that don't worry, it fades pretty quickly until the spell activates and it will grow very, very brightly. She'll look at Bask and say, "Right, as always, you need to wash your hands with the alcohol first. Do not drink it. I do not have much of this. It's expensive. Don't
I'm
wipe your hands on your trousers again after washing your hands."
all right, fine.
I love the idea of having to go through a stick and poke right after having been through a sewer and then in the back alley of this like swanky establishment. This
There
is,
is no better time.
you know,
You know what? In my mind, this is the best time because we've had to deal with ghosts twice now.
Yeah.
Mm,
It's better to
mm.
do
Like
it.
this is important.
It's better to do it after you've been to the sewers instead of going before you're going to the sewers.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Get out of the way. But yeah, it'll do me a bit while we're getting ready, and Dash will put the final finishing touches down Bask's arm with a little bit of a flourish, and definitely you suspect only a small chance that she's actually put her signature in demonic just down the bottom of the spell to sign it off.
I'd assumed it was necessary to get the spell to work.
Yeah.
Okay, congratulations, you should be able to punch ghosts now. Play with a smile.
Maybe that'll be my thing. Be able to punch everything.
Yeah. Bask does a
So
little
true.
bit of a fist pump and like text overlays. You have gained Ghost Punch.
If just as small warning, you may have slightly any odd side effects of slight tingling when activating strange dreams about the coming of the end times, but I wouldn't worry about them. You get used to them. So waving your hand slightly.
You do. I've had them.
Just
fine.
in the back of your head, you just hear the words, "Are you a god?"
Please consult
Anyway.
with your doctor if
We
Ghost
are
Punch
not
is right for
addressing
you.
that right now.
It's non-diegetic. Don't worry about it. Okay, excellent, wonderful. And with that, I think we can move on to tonight's score, which is reaching and conversing with Aunt Angie and dealing with all of the things that come up as a result of that. So, let's go ahead and let's take a look at what kinds of scores we're going to be planning through here, yeah? So, as always, the choices are of just the broad strokes plans. You've got assaults, deceptions, stealth, occult, socials, and transport. Now, as things stand now, your idea is to get across Brightstone and then convince Angie of your innocence and tell get across the idea of whoever might actually be guilty to her. Things that may develop in the meantime, I will go ahead and tell you that the district has an increased bluecoat presence, simply a combination of where you are being the upscale portion of town and the previous events of the evening, meaning that, the cops are on the lookout. They're being careful. So let
Teacher.
that affect your position or your plan type as you may.
Yeah, I was going to suggest it would be a social, but with this increased police presence that we need to avoid, I think it's now very clearly stealth.
Well, I would actually debate that.
Yeah.
I would actually debate that. Welcome to the fucking debate club, everyone. No, because the crime gangs attending the races, they're after us too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with the cops after us and the crime gangs after us, perhaps we could, maneuver in such a way that both parties meet, and that would not be necessarily stealth. It would be deception or maybe even assault, like taking the above water approach.
That would be deception, I would say, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to agree with that. I sort of like the idea, like we're making the run for the home stretch as our best shot to try and clear ourselves. So actually, doing it as showy way possible.
Oh, okay. Well, could we, in terms of the plan, like get to Aunt Angie's, get access to doing an Electrovox broadcast, and use that broadcast to set up a kind of like, we saw that they were in location A, and then everybody goes to location A, and then they fight.
Okay,
so doing
so
it
like,
that way around.
yeah, the goal is not to get to Aunt Angie, it's rather using Aunt Angie as the method to get this faction on each other's necks.
And then that gives us a clearer shot back to home base.
I love it. Yeah. Are we all down for that?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Nathan?
Okay.
Yeah. This sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going with
Alright.
the deception, then it sounds like.
Cool, yeah.
All right. Okay. So score preferred hunting type or preferred type on hunting grounds. So this is not your usual hunting grounds, so we're not going to add a die there. Gather information. You haven't really gathered any information in the either in a flashback or in a previous phase, so no added dice there. Let's take a look. Okay, so I'd like everybody to declare what their loadout level is going to look like at this point. You can do a bit of resupply with either nearby stashes for your own crew, or this backroom supply cupboard for the Bean and Gone. So you can don't feel the need to like reduce your load simply because of narrative reasons. We've got ways around it.
I think we're still rocking with the normal 5, in my opinion. For me, anyway.
I'm upgrading to 6.
I think Dash will also be following suit, and will have got her best giant canvas poncho on, which almost clatters with the amount of hidden metal chains and usual things.
Going for heavy load makes it either visually or audibly obvious that you're packing heat, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I'm sticking with 5. I've been doing good with it so far.
Okie dokie then. So if you could go ahead and let's have somebody roll an engagement roll. Let's see. We are starting off with 1 die. I'm gonna say that this is going to be a bold operation. So we're going to go ahead and add a die for that. Plans detail exposes a vulnerability in its target. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do a little bit of figuring off mics so as not to tip anything I might have. So give me just a moment.
In the meantime, hello everybody. I don't normally address chat while we're mid-storytelling, but since we're in the position where we are vamping, hello. Thank you for joining me on this auspicious occasion of my rapidly aging body.
I thought you were a lich.
So how does it feel being so very old?
They say black don't crack, but I feel old. Yeah. I've been looking forward to doing some Electrovox magic since session 1. So,
oh yeah,
hope that we get to go and do something absolutely fucking wild.
Okie doke, I am back, everybody. So I think you're going to have a total of 2 dice on this fortune roll to figure out our engagement.
I don't think Dash or Bask have made the engagement roll yet, so either of them can do so.
Go for it, Bask.
Okay, now remind me how to do such a thing.
I think it's just the fortune dice again, but 2 of them.
Correct.
Cool. Number of dice. DOS. Boom. 2 and a 3.
Bad results. Okay, so you're going to be starting out in a desperate position when this action starts.
It's okay. We grinding XP.
Since we are about to really launch into the main section of our things, let's go ahead and start some different music from our coffee background.
Are we going to switch over to a background for the area of town that we're in as well?
We actually got that earlier during the intro, but I'd be happy to play that theme
It didn't
again.
transfer for us, I believe. We've still been on story screen, so you might not have dragged us over.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay, background as in background, not background as in music.
Yeah.
Give me just a moment.
Sorry to be vague.
Yes, indeedy. We are in Brightstone, as mentioned before.
Hmm. Look how posh they are. God. In their big ass buildings.
And I'm going to go ahead and add a clock here for avoiding the blue coats on the way to Aunt Angie's.
Hmm.
They are going to be... Well, basically, we're going to run through what each of you would like to contribute to this. Because as you emerge from the back of the shop, having given Fletcher the nod and stepped back out into the alleyway here, you can still see that there are blue coats passing to either end of this alleyway. They're not paying too terribly much attention because, you know, this being the upscale part of town, they've gotten a little too comfortable, let's say. They assume that any nefarious ne'er-do-wells would have been caught at the border to the district, and that nobody could be just lurking in the alleys. That's what uncultured swine would do that. So, who would like to be the first person to start off this journey?
Ooh, if I can make a vague suggestion.
Go ahead.
I think Dash will start by scampering off onto the roof. I think we're going to perform some very light summoning at the start of the session before we get into Godzilla tier things later on. She'll clock up a little ritual circle and be attempting to summon basically a very low tier like imp watcher demon who's going to be probably disguised as a seagull with slightly even worse attitude to see if we can get a bit of aerial scouting going on, a better field of view.
Okay, all right. Would you like to roll something about it for me?
Yeah, I think attune's my standard for summoning things. So, position and outcome on this one? Is it?
So we are starting in a desperate position, unfortunately. Since this is something that you are used to doing, I think we're going to do... Oh, let's just say... standard effect. Well, no, we'll do a limited effect. We'll do limited effect.
Okay.
Just because you are trying to keep it a small demon. So this is going to be something that's just a little hidden.
Okay. Oh. Ooh, no bonus dice.
Ooh. 5 is pretty good.
I'll take that.
Okay. So you do it, but because we are in a desperate position, so go ahead and mark XP for that. You do have to suffer a consequence for it.
Definitely fine.
Let's see, and it should be a serious consequence. So I think that in this instance, because you are having to kind of deal with sort of doing a summoning without having pre-prepared for one and not having your resources with you, I think I'm going to have to throw level 1 harm at you as you fuel this summoning with your own body.
Okay. Seems very fitting.
So yeah, what kind of level 1 harm do you think is appropriate for this?
I assume it's like magical feedback, so it'll probably hit at her constitution. So I was thinking she'll finish the ritual, and then there'll be a bit of a moment of coughing up unpleasantness. So I don't want to go quite as far as damaged lungs, because
So short of breath, maybe.
yeah, short of breath. I think sounds good.
Okay. So you do thus have this little watcher demon, and so I'm going to give that as kind of +1 die going forward to any sort of observation or sneaking rolls that you think you could mix in the idea of having an extra set of eyes watching out for you.
Dashel's back down the drain pipe. Salute to the rest of Smile the Widest, and wiping something that looks probably slightly too dark to be blood off the corner of her mouth. Got ourselves a little eyes in the sky. Should make avoiding the patrols a bit easier.
all right. Well, let's go and see if we can't cause a bit of a distraction, and we'll make our way on the in-between. Let's see.
You've added one tick to the clock.
Mm-hmm. What are the kind of there are some parts of Doskvol that are really heavy in terms of like alleyways and shadowy streets and so on and so forth. Brightstone being one of the wealthier areas of the city are probably less like that. But how much in terms of milling around the streets at this hour is there? Are there other people out here aside from Bluecoats?
So there's not much milling about the streets going on here. Most people are exiting. If they do exit a building, they immediately get into a carriage or one of the, amongst the very richest, one of the brand spanking new automobiles that have been cranked out by the Sparkrights recently. But interestingly, while you wouldn't imagine, just thinking about the rich part of town, that there would be alleyways or anything like that, there are always places where the servants go. All of those little hidden back rooms and narrow passageways that cut between the different manors and large marble buildings where those who the rich would rather not see can simply disappear to. So options are available is what I'm getting at.
Let's see. I would... Yes. There's a specific thing that I'm trying to look for in order to, since the I know how rich people like to operate. They go and make these beautiful homes, and then they spend their entire time being paranoid, terrified that somebody might cause damage to it, somebody might break in, so on and so forth. And they have the police around to make sure that that kind of thing don't happen. So my suggestion is if we go and take a look-see, see if one's got the lights on, maybe break a window, and when everybody comes a running at the non-existent home invasion, we go slip the other way, you know what I mean?
I like that plan.
Yeah.
I'm endorsing this plan.
Let's go see if I can see a building that seems like a worthy mark for the plan. I would like to make a study roll to go do the thing.
Yeah, I think a study roll works perfectly for this.
Which one of these houses looks the most both expensive and most desperate to summon police?
Given the nature of the thing, I'm also going to throw an extra die at you for that little Watcher Demon.
Okay. What's the position and effect? Well, we're desperate at the moment, right?
We are desperate. I'm going to call this standard effect, however, because we've got it. This is a good situation for this.
And then we have +1 bonus die. Let's go. That's a 6, baby.
Three.
Excellent. You do, in fact, find a house that is ripe for the pickings. Your little seagull is able to sort of land on a windowsill, and kind of opposite the window that you're approaching, and distract anybody who might be inside by rap tap tapping at the window, and creating this opportunity for you to do what needs to be done. And so on that note,
at my chamber door, looks to Bask. Want to go break a window, blow off some steam?
That sounds great. He will find. He'll probably start looking for a brick, but if he finds just a loose trash can, he might just chuck that.
Just a whole bin. I love it.
Yes, 100%.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That is exactly what you do then. And it is, in fact, one of those wonderfully tall and wide, elegant bay windows that you just send a heaping pile of garbage through. And instantly breaking the electrical contacts on the alarm system on the other side of it. And you hear bells and whistles and klaxons of this ostentatious alarm system, and you leg it because you know that there is going to be a cloud of Bluecoats here any moment now. Okay, so there's our second wedge filled in. So who's up next?
I have an idea. I would like to craft some krill cage feeders in order to lure notorious Mr. Bingles to a certain part of town and
Interesting.
cause sufficient enough of a ruckus for that requires blue coat attention, because suddenly there's an astral monstrosity swimming in the sewers on boat night of all days of all nights.
Okay. Well,
Not on
what
boat
are we-
night.
That's
what
when
are
the
we
rich
gonna roll
people
about
get
it?
in their boats, go into the canal, and have fun. But suddenly, there's just a big fucking whale with teeth. Hate that. So I would like to roll a tinker for that, because I'm crafting these little cages with
Okay.
paste.
All right. Yeah, I see. Probably using some bits of that fish from before, in fact.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we're gonna do this at, again, desperate position, but because you caught that fish earlier, I'm actually going to raise the effect level. Or you know what? I'm gonna standard effect. I'm gonna default it to risky position instead, because you
No,
have
no, give me
something that
my
you can use as
XP.
bait.
Give me my XP. No.
Oh, okay,
No,
fine.
it's no. Yeah, I get you. I set
I mean,
myself up for this.
yeah.
It's only good narrative continuity. Shoot myself in the foot with
I
that
mean,
fucking
if-
fish.
If you really want to twist my arm and put you back at a desperate position, we might just have some serious consequences. I mean, that's fine by me.
I'll accept the consequences of toilet fish. Like
Okay.
I will be accountable for that.
Okay. I love this game so much. The Consequences of Toilet Fish is such an episode title. All right, go ahead.
All right, Tinker risky standard.
Correct.
Does anyone have a devil's bargain for me?
Oh, I am less devil's bargain. I am tempted to offer some help. Just for Dash, obviously having like her thing being communicating with demons and the like. So, but actually having maybe offering a few things where you can send warp things in the ley lines and things, whatever disturbance this thing's creating before it pushes through. To give you a better idea of where to set your traps and the like.
I like that idea. Yeah, like you can sort of see the
It comes.
the patrol routes.
Does it cost me a little bit of stress to assist a dice? I seem to
It's
recall.
1 to assist stress wise.
Let's see. You know, I think it's one. It's two to push yourself, but yeah, I think it's one to assist. Yes.
Okay, I shall do that.
We'll say that. Yeah.
Very overexcited sort of way. It's like I can sense the warping in the fields. It's drawn to where the agitations and its prey are more, shall say, in that large, like the lopsided grin again.
I love the silhouette, sort of like the scene of two silhouettes moving, like against lamplight. You just have Dash's outline, like the big poofy hat against a brick wall, like her shadow, and then just a weird figure, like a weird squishy figure in a giant woolly coat, and moving from canal to just dangle little cage feeders into the water. I like that very much.
Just a little quiet bloop, bloop, bloop.
All right, so that is a extra die, you said?
Yep.
Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Let's fish.
Yeah, there we
Oh!
go.
Oh, you saved me.
Mhm.
Excellent. So with a 6, you in fact do it. And so we're going to raise the marker on Avoid the Bluecoats as well as on Mr. Bingles Arrives.
Yes.
So give me just a moment to do that while I think about some narrative consequences.
Mr. Bingle comes.
And now I have an issue. Because AU definitely took Best plan.
Oh, right.
Like, 100%, that's what I was thinking of doing to help.
Mhm.
I mean, here's
Because
the
why
thing.
wouldn't he do that?
You did throw that garbage can, so we can just count that as you're part of avoiding the blue coats and fill that in for you.
I mean, it's up to you. You're the GM.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to do that
Mhm.
unless somebody wants really desperately wants to see him pull some shenanigans.
I mean, if you want to make a dice roll for the circumstances, helping secure our escape route would be super useful.
That's a good idea. Let's go ahead and do that. While you figure out what you want to roll for that, I will do a little bit of description here because we are now halfway filled on the Mr. Bingles arrives clock.
Jesus.
And so I don't think that we get a true appearance here, but there is definitely a bubbling within the canal. And these crystal clear perfumed waters, they don't become truly murky, but there is definitely an agitation of silt along the bottom of these canals. And you start to notice after a while, just maybe there's a couple extra blue coats watching the edge of the canal a little more interestedly. And there might be like just a hint of that seaside foul smell every once in a while instead of the perfumed cherry blossom scent that usually wafts off of the canals. So they're focusing a little less on the things that might be happening in the back alleys and the streets and kind of looking at these canals going, what's going on down there? What's all this then?
noise?
What's all this then?
Yeah.
It reeks of the local blubber houses, like where they prune the fat of the whales, but it smells angrier somehow.
Mm-hmm. No, there is a distinct smell that you are describing, and yeah, no, it is. It's the kind of pungent smell that you don't notice so much as feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a visceral experience.
Yeah. Gospel to the fishes.
Okay,
Alright.
so what would you like to roll, Bosk, to finish
So
avoiding the blue coats?
frankly, I'll commit to an actual like action.
Mm.
Much in the same way of like breaking the window to the distraction. Bask wants to, because we'll probably pass someone, not necessarily blue cape, but just someone on the street, wants to command him to go tell the authorities we went the opposite direction we were going.
Okay, so we're just going for an intimidation tactic now, huh?
Yes.
Amazing.
I'm good at like 3 things.
Okay, fair. So, what would you like to roll about it?
I want to command him.
Oh, right. That's
Yeah.
totally just a thing you can do in this.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
so
it is.
this is going to be a desperate position. I'm going to go
Cool.
with limited effect here.
That's fair.
I am helping.
Okay, how would you like to assist?
I think that this is because the way that I, as the spider, one of my powers is foresight. 2 times per score, you can assist a teammate without paying stress. Tell us how you prepared for this, and we get a flashback to the Bean and Gone cafe and upmarket restaurant that we were just at, and it turns out that somebody did. Kind of like, I have no idea how to go and make this cocktail. They're gonna yell at me, and like Arthur is like, it's all good. I got this. Steps out of scene for a while, possibly while tattoos are being done, and then kind of comes back. Hands Dustin being kind of like, and that waitstaff now knows how to make an old fashioned, and that waitstaff now owes me a favor. And you run into that same waitstaff having finished their shift, making their way back through Brightstone to go home.
I love it. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll about it.
So you get
So
a
still
bonus
limited
die
effect?
on your command.
Okay.
Yes, still desperate limited, but you now have a bonus die.
Cool. Shazam.
6.
They, recognizing you from the crew that was previously lurking, kind of give you a nod and say, I'll wait for you to get a little bit of leg room first. Yeah. And they go off to do their thing, and we fill the avoid the blue coats.
Yes.
Huzzah!
Well, I saw the
Be
burglar
gone.
go that way. Go get them! They jumped into the canal.
They jumped into the canal, they did, right next to that monster, they did. Very wrong. Extra, extra, burglars jump into the canal.
And as we are about to reach our next major location for this session, I'd like actually to suggest that we take our break a little bit early.
That is perfectly fine. No problem. So, party people, we're just going to go and take a 5-minute break. Give us the opportunity to hydrate, take a stretch, use the bathroom, maybe to even fish something out of it, although I strongly don't recommend you do that. We'll see you all
Don't tell
in
them what to
5.
do. It could be great.
If you tell you what, if you do happen to go and spend your 5-minute break fishing something up from your toilet, don't fucking tell me. I'll see you in 5. And welcome back, party people, to the Neoncaster Twitch channel. We are in the latter half of today's session of Blades in the Dark, Escape to the Void Sea. We have hit the streets of Brightstone in a bid to go and find the delightful radio DJ and personal rival of Arthur Uxley, Aunt Angie, for a special broadcast to help them escape the pursuing forces of both the police and rival gangs. To introduce us back to the circumstances at hand, we do have our GM, Draco.
Hello, everybody. So, having now made it all the way across Brightstone to the manor of Aunt Angie, you find a rather serious situation. In the time since the last broadcast you heard, at the top of the last, broadcast that we played, it seems that Aunt Angie's manor has undergone some level of assault. All the windows and doors are intact from what you can see, but the marble work of the manor itself, the brickwork of its fences, and even some of the metal of the wrought iron seems to have taken shots from several firearms. But as I said, the doors and windows still seem to be standing up to whatever assault happened. Everything is quiet, and there's nobody in the area. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Fish is really the only person who's spent any serious amount of time here. I think, AU, you might have met Aunt Angie at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't think he's done a house visit before. But,
right.
Yeah.
But I don't think Bask or Dash have ever met Aunt Angie, yes?
No, absolutely
not. That I doubt it.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. So, what are you doing?
Jesus Christ, what happened here?
Well, Bobby's got pretty harsh critics in this section.
Well, I mean, the building seems not super damaged, like the doors and windows and all that, but that might suggest that there is a form of security that we can't see, which, well, I wouldn't put it past her. You notice anything like that here before, Fish? Any kind of security systems?
Well, the last time that I went there, I could enter without any problem, and also I was carrying so many drugs on me, so I don't think there's actual security.
That being said, Dash, the moment that you cross the fence line here, you feel just the slightest hum of static. It's not real electricity, but it's the closest analog that you can come up with for this feeling that sort of washes over you from front to back as you pass the fence line.
Ooh, that makes my teeth rattle a bit. There's thermic energies through the roof here. So sort of pressure's dropped like a stone, shall say, smacking the side of her head slightly as if trying to adjust something internally.
Once it's brought up, AU, you start to recognize a similar sort of sensation in your bones. Something that feels like when you've turned on the biggest transmitter in the basement of the Golden Hour. It's like a crackling in the air that is just beneath the audible level. And looking around, you can see the massive antenna structure that's on the roof of her manor at its center. And you can see that there are actually wires that run down to the ground and tap into the nearby electrical grid on top of what would normally be necessary for the house. And in fact, in sort of timed pulses, you can see the street lamps out in front of the house dim a little bit as
I
electricity
recognize this
cycles
as
through.
basically her rig for her broadcasting setup. I see. Also,
Yep,
are we supposed to be having 2 tracks going simultaneously right now?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Is it distracting or is it?
It's not. Just checking.
Okay.
Because I was kind of like, wait, I can hear 2 songs, but that makes sense if there's like a weird interference going on simultaneously. Right. Yeah, no, very
intentional
clever.
disorientation.
Very clever.
Yes.
Yeah. AU looks at like his hand and his fingertips, and almost like the electricity between Tesla coils kind of runs up in the gaps between his fingers. Well, this is some expensive shit. I wonder how much coin she spent on this. But it's not. Well, he kind of his expression softens a little bit. He looks at the rest of the crew. It's not like a security system. It's just a broadcasting rig, innit? So I sure hope she don't have a firearm, because if she does, a spark of it will probably make the gunpowder go off and we'll both die. And he goes up to the front door and gives it a knock.
And as you knock, there's a bit of a hollow sound from beyond the door. It's a solid oak affair, but the room beyond must be massive. And Fish, you would know this. This house is barely lived in. The ground floor is decorated in such a way that it was clearly meant to house very large parties at one point in Angie's life, but she is far beyond the age at which that is appropriate at this time. So she does most of her living on the second and third and fourth stories. So a hollow sound from beyond the front door is not out of character, but it is certainly a lot more silent here than you're used to. And eventually she does crack open the door. This is the Aunt Angie that you are used to seeing, but something's off. She moves in a way that is a little more lively. And when she opens her mouth, you hear the effects of a wonderful concoction that you left behind the last time.
Should I name the side effects or the effects of my new drug?
If you'd like to, sure, yeah.
So I invented a drug called Void Ash, also called, what is it, like
Angie's Fun Dust, I think.
Fun Dust, yes. Angie's Fun Dust.
Oh, the level of disapproval in your voice there, Dave, was spectacular.
So effects are 1. Derealization. 2. Visions of a corporate future. 3. Incredible grasp of color theory. 4. No sense between left or right. And 5. Post-coital voice.
And so when she opens this door, she is instantly sort of leaning up against the door jamb a little bit, perhaps not quite being able to move as gracefully as she once was, but perhaps just to be a little extra saucy. Well, good evening, lads and ladies, and those non-binary spirits in between. Comes this sort of sultry voice from this woman who is very clearly in her 80s or 90s.
Love it. Comtessa, we are here with a request.
Everybody else it does at the same time. or at least has in the past. Come on in. And she opens the door, and as she turns to do this, she kind of has a moment where she overturns, and Dash, you are the only person who might notice this. I need you to give me a roll of some sort that has to do with the Eldritch. You can determine exactly what it is yourself, but this is kind of your bailiwick, so I need you to perhaps spot this secondary effect.
So probably a study rather than an attune, I'd say. I don't think she'll push herself for this one, so it'll just be a single dice.
Yeah, this one's going to be a controlled situation, so like it's to fill in some gaps, not so
Okay.
much to cause a scene or anything like that. So you're
So
not in any serious danger.
okay, so just run it on.
Oh, is your little demon friend still about?
Oh, I guess so. Yeah. So
Throw an
10.
extra die at it. Why not?
In fact, as we've sort of come inside, it's probably come and just sort of hidden under Dash's hat, and maybe occasionally peeking a look out. So
That's cute.
Occasionally, you hear a soft shuffle. Mine.
Oh, a crit!
Oh.
Yes.
Yes,
The
we shall have
rawest crit.
it.
Good
You
God.
know Aunt Angie intimately now.
Oh no.
Okay. This could not be a more perfect moment than to give this to you. So, for just the sheerest, narrowest split second, you notice two things. A few things actually. The first thing is she never extends any part of herself past the door jamb.
Mhm.
Like that's already something a little bit suspicious to you, because usually you're used to this sort of aged debutante, sticking a hand out to be kissed and all of that sort of thing before she invites somebody in, to pay the due respects. No, she doesn't come past her house. She doesn't go anywhere. Secondarily, you're used to people being at least a little bit more mentally off their rocker when given some officious new things. But beyond the physical effects, she still seems sharp. She's 100% in herself. And then you catch, for just a brief moment, as she overturns and then recorrects to the direction she wants to be heading in, that she might not actually be 100% in herself, because thanks to your critical, you do a bit of a blink and see into the spectral, and then blink again and no longer are. Aunt Angie's dead. She is in fact controlling her own corpse.
Yo!
What?
Not
What?
allowed. That's not allowed. I coined that. Amazing. Okay. Yeah.
And so you suddenly start to put two and two together on, okay, that's probably got to do with something of why the house is in the state that it's in, and why the rig is always running, because, other Electrovox artists tend to come on and off the air relatively often. They find certain times of night or even during the day where they go on air and take up their little bit, but no, she's always on air. She's always gossiping. She's always running something.
I think, given reaction to previous Eldritch things, Stash absolutely great with demons, absolutely fine with them. Hates ghosts, scared of them, will immediately sort of move behind Bask and just like grab onto his sleeve in a sort of hiding behind him kind of way. Probably very reminiscent of her behaviour when we were in the sewers. Don't like it. Think we should go.
Well, not having spotted this, she's going to, as gracefully as possible, given that her body is currently fucked up, sort of get herself over to the staircase that leads up to the next level. After my last broadcast, this became a bit of a hothouse. I had to, use some of my wiles to push back the investigative arm of the City Watch, shall we say. They were none too happy about that, but I was able to negotiate them down.
They're the people who showed up with guns.
Yes, exactly. Come on up. We have some things to discuss, I believe.
Yeah, there's like a visible indignance on Arthur's face. Like, the police are corrupt. We all know this, but they would turn like mass firearms on a single like octogenarian. What the fuck? That's actually awful. And he has like a degree of genuine sympathy as he's like, that's, to be honest, pretty unacceptable. I get that you're clued into the goings on and everything, but to turn firearms on you for information seems a bit garbage.
To be
even
fair,
for him. Yeah.
I might have been a little more forceful than necessary in asking them to leave the premises. But, well, the lady doesn't share all her secrets, does she? Dash, you are very quickly realizing that, like, oh, she must have done some spooky shit.
Yeah. Dash is suddenly going to squeak. Bathroom. Could I use, please?
Oh, there's a half bath just under the stairwell here, if you pull around to the left. Or you can use one of the ones upstairs. There's multiples.
Excellent. Bass, come. Pull.
Okay. Because clearly he has no idea what the hell's going on.
We'll get presumably slightly around the corner and out of shot, while the rest of them go upstairs. Actually, I'm probably struggling to explain something. So he just pulls up Bass' sleeve to where the runes are that have just recently been tattooed, which will presumably now probably be glowing slightly in a vaguely eldritch green kind of colour, and she'll just sort of gesture them at both hands and say, "Am I the only one who can see this?"
No, I think Bosk has the ability to at least see them himself.
Oh yeah, no. This is more Dash just declaring it in the sort of, how has no one
Gotcha.
else picked up that she's dead?
I'm sorry, she's what?
Dead. D-E-D, dead. D-E-D. Illiterate streeters.
The spell writing must be very difficult for you.
Oh, poor baby.
No. But what do you mean? She's walking. What? You're crazy.
Yes, they're dead. Absolutely. But do know a ghost when I see one. That's a ghost. She's dead. She has passed on. She has ceased to be. Won't go any further with that.
I
This
guess
is an ex-debutante.
Or the other one. So she's dead, Bask.
I guess in setting, we are aware of groups of people who have died, and instead of turning into like ravaging beasts of ghouls or what have you, they've managed to keep Corpus Mentis revenants. That's the word I was trying to get to and was failing.
There you go.
Yeah, so this is not unheard of, but the fact that she's one is maybe a surprise.
And it's a little spooky that she's puppeting herself. That's odd. That's not normal.
Like Bass will just go like, I don't know what to do with this information currently. Mostly because she hasn't tried to kill us, so
it's true. It's true. I say panting slightly, and they're sort of getting herself a little bit worked up. But don't like ghosts. Shouldn't be. Well.
No, I think you're right. I think that is good instinct. Every ghost we've met tonight, bad, but
probably don't tell Arthur yet. He might. I don't know how he would react, to be honest. But she probably doesn't want people to know. She might, do weird ghosty shit to us.
Well, I'm glad you told me and put me in danger. I appreciate that.
she'll just nod knowingly and sort of, yeah, but you can punch ghosts now, so it's fine.
Okay, well,
You may have
Fine.
to punch Aunt Angie if things go south, she'll say.
I might genuinely feel bad about that.
It's the worst episode of the Golden Girls.
Oh, no. You just punch
afraid-
somebody so hard their ghost flies out. Fuck.
We finally know how Betty White died.
Oh no! Why?
Hmm.
Oh dear.
I have to leave now.
Oh,
Do not feel bad about punching a lich, says Shits.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get back before this gets any weirder.
Okay.
The narrator, little did they know.
Yeah, right. Meanwhile, upstairs in the broadcast booth, no, legitimately, Angie does lead you upstairs, and there is a moment, like partway up the stairs, where a bundle of these power cables comes in through a high window behind you, and joins up with the ceiling, and you can see these cables leading primarily to one of the rooms on the second floor, but also sort of out and around the house, for reasons unknown to you currently, but that certain characters might be getting an inkling of at this point. And she guides you into the central room on the floor and opens it up, and it is formerly a bedroom. Like, there's still definitely a large four-poster bed on one end of it, but you can tell that it hasn't really been properly used in who knows how long, because of the amount of books and missives and other things that are just piled up on top of it, with the desk with the actual main transmitter on it beside it, and a nearby sort of wingback easy chair, having been used as the actual sleeping location for quite some time, with a little microphone on the table beside it, and a piping hot cup of tea, as is her way.
I was gonna say. Well,
Oh yes, of course.
This is where the tea is spilled, then, huh?
Oh yes, of course.
I suppose you got a cup of cha for me and my friends as well.
Oh, we could make something up real quick, I'm sure. Yes. And she goes over to a lit fireplace that has a number of tins along the top edge of it. Parts of the room look very what's the Ghibli film? Howl's Moving Castle. Very similar to some of the interior rooms of just there. It's filled with a life worth living's worth of, tchotchkes and memorabilia and pictures of old family members and all these sorts of fun things.
Made of brass, wood, and whimsy. Sure.
Exactly. Probably a real fun broad when she was younger, but those were the days,
And not dead.
Well, that just removes certain consequences.
Turns out she became more fun after she died. Who would have thought?
All it required was Aunt Angie's fun dust. But I digress.
Oh, wait.
Oh no!
Did I kill her? Oh god. I think. Oh.
Woo.
I mean, that's maybe for the dice to decide, but
Yeah. But in any case, yeah, she pulls out some new leaves and brings a fresh pot over, and in fact puts it on like a camp grill, sort of like the dorm room style single eye heating element that. Oh, I can't be bothered to go down to the kitchen every time I want a new pot, dear. So you'll have to excuse the university level heating, but the water's clean, so And she starts to brew a fresh pot for you. So you've caused a little trouble for yourselves and a little trouble for me tonight, and I just have to ask, what the fuck did you deserve to do this?
Apparently.
excuse me, I've had the words a little bit out of order, do to deserve this. And
Arthur looks a bit on the back foot slightly, and is like would immediately go to explain, but then remembers that Aunt Angie is gossip monger number one, and made the degree of trying to explain the circumstances so directly would be a poor idea, and so instead he stalls for time. Are you trying out a new radio voice? It's pretty interesting.
Oh, this is a result of some of the fun things that Fish has provided me with. It's invigorating, shall we say, at the very least.
Did I not tell you?
Oh yes, you did.
I assumed when you said what you said that you went and got like weed for the grandma who runs a radio station. I didn't realize. Well, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that you're capable of making drugs like this. But was this what you intended?
Well,
he seems more surprised than angry. Just like, is this what you meant to do?
My intention was to get Aunt Angie fixed on my blow. I did not intend for this kind of voice, but I think it suits her well. Comtessa, if I may, you are looking mighty fine.
God, says Dash in the background.
And she kind of strikes that sort of hip out kissy face pose that everybody has been doing since the 20s, and yet we seem to think needed a new name in the 2010s of Duckface. It's fitting. Because of her attitude, she wears it well, but also it is a little jarring given her age and the fact that she's wearing, what sort of equivocates to I won't say a severe, but certainly a reserved sort of nightgown and overcoat. Mm-hmm. Having received guests at such a licentious hour.
Yeah. Well, I suppose there isn't really.
There's a mental image for you.
There's like we get like Arthur's eyes go to like cartoon dots for a couple seconds while he scratches the side of his head. Well, I guess there's not really much I can say about that, can I?
Just presumably the ever-increasing look of horror from Bask and Dashu.
When should we tell the flirting fish that it's a corpse?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
Bash is becoming ever more confused about what the situation is going to devolve into. Like, this is the
number of people that have heard very, very specific things about Captain Oromar Vale, noted zombie pirate, means none of this is surprising to me. Right. Arthur is like, well, I would, really long story short, put a whole lot of this on the Foghounds.
Oh, your... what's the polite term that your crews use for these things? Rivals, I think it is. Your next-door neighbors, perhaps?
More or less. Although, to be honest, I think what we wheel and deal in is an entirely separate venture to theirs, but they still kind of argue that we're stepping on their turf. Anyway, apparently, the fact that we got invited to such an illustrious event. Sorry you couldn't make it. The canapes were amazing. I even ate a strawberry. I think that's what it's called.
Fresh fruit is a bit of a delicacy, isn't it, these days? But no, I was invited, but I can't be getting out and about my age. You know how it is.
Yeah. Well,
I've got a respectable reputation to uphold.
It seems that the Foghounds decided to go and invite Revenge as their +1. Arthur smiles at the turn of phrase. He knows how to be a cool radio DJ.
That was good. Very clever.
So, a long story short, they wanted apparently to shake up. They wanted to get us in the shit and shake up the political state at the same time. And they figured that firearms were the way to do it. But if you're as clued in as you are about what's going on, you'll know that Smile the Widest ain't fired a gun in fucking years.
Mm-hmm. Well, out of curiosity, did you bring any sort of souvenirs from the party? Something that might prove that you were there, that I might be able to hold on to for you.
Angela, we have been in trying not to get shot by gangs or caught by the Bluecoats. We spent the last hour and a half crawling around in a sewer. So I'm afraid if we did have any food in us, that wouldn't be particularly of
out of character. I think Bosk has the pistol from that was planted on his body.
Yes, he does.
Did we not throw that in the fucking river?
No, we didn't.
What?
In fact,
why?
I'm sure he was told to, but like,
considering I like the fact then that in this kind of Arthur being like, we didn't bring food with us, it would be very much ruined. Bask, who is off camera but on the other side of the door.
like I guess because I don't think he'd 100% think to just like showcase the gun, because I think that would put us in a bad light. Like maybe kind of maneuver behind where are they sitting in the middle of the room?
Yeah, y'all are probably towards the middle of the room. If she's anywhere, she's standing behind or beside this little heater that she's making tea on.
Like probably what happens is Bosk will then if he joins up and hears this part of the conversation, we'll just kind of like trying to be inconspicuous, but like probably standing a little bit. Walk up to AU, and just kind of like his back to on Angie, open his coat to show that he still has the gun on him.
So this is out of like Arthur's line of sight, but you okay.
I think this would be to Arthur.
Right.
Like it sounds like he's kind of coming up in slightly quarter turn to the front of Arthur, turning his back to Angie and sort of kind of doing a hey guy. Hey.
Okay, I got you.
This what you mean?
Yeah. Arthur's expression doesn't change. Rivulets of electricity just run through his hair. And the spike in stress levels is immediately visually obvious if you know what Arthur's deal is, even though his expression doesn't change.
That pesky curse just ruining a good poker face.
I mean, it keeps being a problem, and in more ways than you'd normally expect.
Something crap thunder piss lightning.
At least your love life is electrifying.
Hey.
I don't even really want to kind of consider what that would do in like intimacy. That just feels like a bad fucking time. Anyway,
moving right along.
Yeah. So I think like Arthur says to Aunt Angie, well, we might have some inside scoop on the evidence of the situation, but for the most part, all I can offer you is our invitation letter. It's slightly damp. He produces it. It stinks of sewer water, but he has one.
Yeah.
No longer the smell of expensive tobacco upon this paperwork.
And she takes it and kind of looks it over and looks reasonably impressed by the seal on it. Oh, the tower. Bit of a foolish old man at times, but oh well. Younger days.
He was an idealist, but to call him foolish was maybe... Well, it depends on how jaded you are, I guess. Never took you for jaded.
Oh, no. No. I'd love to see this city become something bigger and better with every passing day. And, well, you saw what happened outside. You can tell that I'm not exactly a fan of what the local respectable constables have to say about things. Usually they leave me alone, thankfully, but, that's what comes with money. But, well, they do seem to be getting a little bold, don't they? Um, I hate to be gauche.
Yeah.
Oh,
go ahead.
yes.
Go ahead. No. It's all good.
Do you have anything that might have been a little more involved in the situation? Something. Well, I know that they said that you were the ones who took the shot. Did somebody else do this? Did one of you see who took the shot? Could you give me the story?
Arthur massages the bridge of his nose.
Bask will speak up. Like, I saw. It was the Hive.
Really? And I thought you said it was the Foghounds.
They're working with them. They're working together.
She extends both her hands as if to touch the sides of your head, but doesn't. May I?
Yeah. Yes. I guess he'll lean in just to make it a little bit easier.
Okay. And she touches your head, kind of the fingers of each hand going along sort of that track between your temple and where the back of your ear is. And the rest of you see just the slightest bit of electroplasmic contact between them. And Dash, you get the best look at this because you already actually know what's up here. Bosk, for just the briefest moment, it's like somebody was playing back the memories of that exact moment of what happened. Seeing the look of the leader of the Foghounds gave you as the member of the Hive raised the pistol, and then realizing that the weight in your pocket was a new pistol. And then you're back to reality. And Aunt Angie, having just expended this little bit of power, is for a split second a little more out of herself than usual. And so the other two of you now also see this just slightly to just the millimeter to the left of her body, the spectral form of the young, vivacious, gorgeous woman that she still remains on the inside, before she resynchronizes with her physical form.
I know this is going to be a terrible moment to do this, but it feels like I have to, given my vice. During this, while Dash has probably been only taking sideways glances at Aunt Angie due to being generally hiding behind Bask. She had a lot of books here, didn't she? Was there any interesting ones kicking about, as I've got forbidden book theft as my particular vice?
Amazing.
Sorry, everybody.
She's very distracted right now.
She is literally in somebody else's head. Oh goodness, forbidden books. I think there's a book called The Rites and Times of Saint Unguent. And rites being spelled R-I-T-E-S, that you recognize as an older text from a cult of Leviathan worshippers that she just has sort of tucked away in between some other tomes of just trashy romance and fantasy and fiction and all of these sorts of things. Is meant to be kind of overlooked, sort of a thing that I think you could absolutely pick up if you wanted.
Absolutely. Do I need to make a roll for this, or is this just a?
No, I think you just pass it. She is not paying any sort of attention whatsoever. She's playing back Bosk's memories, so that's where her mind is.
Disappears into Dash's poncho.
Well, you all have had an interesting evening, haven't you? And she smiles in a way that gives off the feeling of the bright, sort of party smile, but is in reality like your brain's kind of auto-tune out the, the gumminess. Let's be frank. Well, I was already ready to defend you before. Now I know what happened. That heater you've got in your coat pocket there, Basket Boy. That's you sure you want to hold on to that?
Maybe no. I should I get rid of it?
Yes. Just leaning in.
Well, I'm just saying. You still have a place or two to go this evening, I believe, and this might be the best place to lose something. And she kind of gestures to the massive amount of clutter in her space that would take a dedicated investigative team years to dig through and identify everything from. I may be the queen of gossip, but I know a few things that nobody else ever will, if you catch my drift.
I guess he'll just take the gun out and find a corner in the room and put it there.
Okay. You find an appropriate little umbrella stand that has a number of parasols and other things in it, as well as some canes and a few other accoutrements for either covering oneself up or helping oneself get along that you could dump it into.
Before we go, I'm gonna have to ask you a favor.
Sure thing.
Since you know that we didn't do it, and you know that there are a couple hundred people not for our heads, do you mind if we put out a bit of a bulletin about, he smiles, golden teeth, where we're at right now?
You know, you read my mind, sweetie. Let's just get to this. And as she goes to switch on her transmitter, there is the crackling whine of a loudspeaker from outside. And you all recognize the voice of the star from earlier in the evening. All right. Smile the widest. We know you're in there. And we brought a little bit of backup. I know that the boys had a conversation with Aunt Angie earlier, but now that we know what's what, we've brought some of the wardens around. And about then is the time you hear the crack of a rather large caliber weapon. And the house shakes just ever so slightly. And as Angie goes to flip on the transmitter, there is the whine of feedback. Well, shit. All right, boys. I'd love to get you out your broadcast, but looks like we're going to have a problem doing so. And from outside, now are y'all going to come out peacefully? Or are we going to have the spirit wardens deal with whatever bullshit she's got going on to get inside and have a discussion with you in there?
Can, from the feedback effect, Arthur intuit what is specifically wrong and how we're being jammed?
What would you like to roll for me about it?
Okay, sure thing. That would probably be, with my current skill set, a study roll. It's an academic thing of gathering information, applying knowledge. Are we desperate? This seems pretty bad.
Yeah, this is definitely desperate.
Okay, what's my effect?
I think we're going to have standard effect.
Okay.
because you're used to working with broadcast equipment yourself, so you kind of know what's up.
Considering the circumstances at hand, I'm going to push myself and add a bonus die. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Please. Ah! Okay, full success. Nice.
Beautimous. So, judging by the feedback that's coming through and the fact that as she's changing channels, she's getting similar. It's as if she can't receive anything, and so the system is just feeding back off of its own electricity. You would guess that they have destroyed her primary antenna. That was the shake that hit the house, was that large antenna tower at least partially coming down.
Yes. Arthur smile starts small and then gets wide and then gets too wide, and he turns to Dashia and rummages around in his pockets and pulls out his fine-tuned antenna knife. I'm gonna need you to go onto the roof for me.
She'll say, saluting.
They've gone and trashed the main antenna. I'm gonna need you to go and take this and jam it into, and listen to me carefully, the blue wire on the rig up there.
Okay, blue wire, rig, high as I can. Got you.
Don't let them fucking shoot you.
I'll try and avoid it, she'll say.
I think we can provide some cover for our little witch. I've been itching for a throwdown.
Bosk, how about you go and make a distraction so they're not shooting up top?
Okay. He will find, again, something big, heavy, because he wants to throw something through the front door.
Please go take the tea kettle and go clock somebody with that.
Amazing. All right, I'm going to introduce some new clocks here. As
it's time.
Angie says, well, I'll stay with my equipment here. I'm not going to be much use, especially once they start picking at my wards downstairs outside this room. And you can see that she's got a little bit of genuine fear on her face. I need to stay in here kind of for my own safety if they start messing with what I got going on around the perimeter, if you know what I mean. So, whatever you can do to protect this place until you get that antenna back up and running and get the heat off, that'd be much appreciated.
Understood, Contessa. Question, do you have anything moldy?
And she kind of looks over at a tray of cakes that had been, had a napkin thrown over it because she kind of forgot about it off to one side for a little too long and hadn't quite gotten around to dealing with it. I might have one or two things.
Big, don't tell people I live like this energy. I understand.
A little bit. I mean, she is a recluse. I mean, it is a thing.
Damn, girl, you live like this?
Listen, I don't get out much, okay? I have to have have people come by and deliver things, and it's easy to get lost in your broadcast. I'm sure you knows what I'm talking about.
Yes, good.
It's like she uses Duskfall Dasher.
Yeah, well.
Thank you, sec. No, I would appreciate your your squalid ways, because I am in need of something moldy to distract or upset the opposition right now.
Okay. So, with that in hand, I'm gonna shift the music around a little bit. At least for the opening phases of this. We now have two racing clocks here. We have Reach the Roof and the Unseen Reach Angie. So for essentially failures on the defender's parts, that's going to be what contributes to the Unseen Reaching Angie, and successes for Reaching the Roof. It's going to be all about Dash's actions. So I guess we'll drop back into that round robin we had before, yeah?
That lower token doesn't have text for us, by the way.
Oh, excuse me. Let me fix that real quick.
No problem. Just letting you know.
Yeah. Oh, I really like this. I love the like one person does the important stuff while the others hold off the attackers. That's a really
Love
cool.
a defense map on Fire
Yep.
Emblem.
Capture the flag, please.
There you go. You should be able to see that now.
Thank you.
Woohoo.
Sick.
Who's going first to raise a little L then?
My thing requires a lot of prep, so if you have like actions you want to do now, just go for it.
So Bask and I go and greet our new guests.
Oh, 100%.
Good luck, and if you get shot, come back to me and I'll fix you up. Also, I might take a sample of your blood for purposes I will not specify, but I'll mostly fix you up.
Didn't you just take a pint like last week?
A pint's never enough.
Ugh.
But I did put it to good use. Anyway.
It's an entirely new motivation to not get hurt.
Exactly.
Alright then. I love a smash cut to outside. We've got some kind of timid blue coat who's reaching out for the front door, and then the front door is kicked open with Bask and I
it's
just
like
down
the
there.
Yakuza GIF.
Okay, so I love that. I'm going to iterate off of that.
Okay.
So looking out from the windows, you can see that not only does the Star have some of his own goons kind of at the back, there is also a Blue Coat squad, as well as a squad of Spirit Wardens out here. And the Spirit Wardens are all kind of at the fence line, but they have not themselves stepped onto the grounds yet. They have sent this sacrificial Blue Coat forward to sort of, test to see if anything is going to leap out and bite anyone along the way. And so, yes, as you kick the door open, what happens next?
Actually, hold on. So I have a thought. Instead of immediately kicking open the door, can Bask would like to ask AU to open the door, and he just chuck the boiling tea kettle at whoever's in front of it.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. So there's an opening of the door. The blue coat is about to kind of reach out for the handle, and it turns before he can reach it, and it opens up. And inside is AU looking surprisingly formal. Welcome to Small the Widest New Radio Den. How can I help you? And he bends down, he bows, and as he bows to welcome them in, the tea kettle goes flying over the back of his head into the sky.
Amazing.
Do you want me to roll for that?
Yes, go ahead and give me a roll for this. We are still definitely in a desperate situation, but
I'm saying skirmish, given the situation.
Sure. So go ahead and skirmish at desperate, and I'm gonna say, let's do this at standard effect.
Okay. Any bonus die, especially since AU is in fact helping as part of the plan.
I do have another set of foresight handy, but I'm gonna hold on to that for just a moment, if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah, I was more asking if Drago would just give it to me because you had your little performance.
Is the effect maybe increased?
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think that's what I'm gonna give. How I'm giving you the standard effect.
Okay, that's
instead of limited, just because of where you're at.
Cool.
Okay. Let's see. You know what I will do for you?
Yeah.
I will give you one die because this is a fine quality teapot.
It's a +1 teapot, yeah!
It is in fact a +1 teapot.
So one bonus die for teapot. Got it. Wow. All right. Shazam.
I love tabletop games.
Crit!
Yes!
Yes! Oh God, no!
You could hear the impact for miles.
Was it in fact just his last job before retirement?
This teapot was the finest make wonderful china, just like the kind of thing that is so thin that like as you add the water to it, you can actually see the water line going up, even though it's not truly transparent. And it hits this guy in the face and just shatters, leaving shards of bone china in him as he's covered in this boiling water.
We get a cut to his office at the police station. What is on his desk? A half full cup of tea that he didn't finish.
Mm-hmm.
What would have happened if he did? We will never know.
You know, he
And
might
of
not
course,
have even been
right-
out on this patrol.
Of course, right next to a picture of his new bride. Because,
Oh.
yes.
Of course. Of course.
My 7
Yeah.
wives and 1 son.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So yeah, this guy is handily taken care of. So yeah, increased effect. Okay, so I think that this would have been 2 pips for them trying to get inside, having proven that no spookiness was going to occur. But if it would have been a success, I would have just reduced it to 1 pip. With this crit, I think even the Spirit Wardens have just taken a step back and gone, what? The absolute hells is going on in this place? We showed up to deal with spooky ghosts, and now we have a gold man in the doorway, supported by a meat wall, who has just boiled one of your officers alive.
We have an Earl
What?
Grey emergency. I repeat, Earl Grey emergency.
So you are very much in control of this situation, and I think the next roll that's made for this is going to be at risky effect instead of desperate, and that may be ongoing depending on how this goes.
I know what I'll be doing next, but I think it's good to cut away from the scene, and then I'll jump back in with my opening gambit on the ground floor later. So,
Okay.
what's like Dash doing?
So probably going with speed over stealth in this particular. It will be having presumably made it up onto the roof, looked at this huge antenna, side slightly at the height beam,
So
probably even.
your clock is actually to reach the roof because you've got 2 floors between where you're at now and the roof itself.
Fair play. So I think she'll probably have headed straight for one of the windows at the side of the house, and
Ooh, okay.
given now got quite a good gear load at the moment, she'll have most definitely got her climbing kit with her, and will be sort of leaping out of the window and sort of throwing the grapnel as she goes to try and hit onto the higher level so she can start scaling the side of this wall and get straight to the roof without having to faff about and find stairs.
Okie dokie. Well, one thing I will add, just as a bit of flavor, before we get to a roll to try to accomplish that, as you go to open this window, you realize that the alarm system that is standard to most of the manors in this area has actually been tied into that main power conduit that you saw, and had a little bit of arcane nonsense done to it, shall we say. It's not any sort of official spell that you would look up in a book or anything like that, but apparently it's enough to help ground Aunt Angie, because it is that sort of room, or of a rune, I should say. Bringing into context some of her commentary about what might happen should the manor's defenses be pierced. So,
Dash makes a mental note that the entire house is rigged like some sort of magical ghost Faraday cage. And there's probably all this out of character pause as she looks at the reach the roof clock and looks at the Mr. Bingles arrives clock. Just for a moment hesitates and then thinks, no, roof first.
just for a split second, the clocks are diegetic, actual like clock towers in town.
How
She
very
takes a look
like
at-
trigger animation. I dig that.
she looks at her wrist and there's just 3 watches with all the clocks on it.
Amazing.
This little like angel that looks like fish appears on one shoulder. You should definitely summon Mr. Bingles. Little devil one on the other shoulder. Yes, Mr. Bingles will arrive. No,
There's nothing you can do. Listen to the other guy.
Okay.
But-
So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll start by opening the window then, and
let's roll for that grapnel. What do you want to roll about it?
I think probably prowl was my go-to for any sort of manoeuvring and clambering and the like. That seems reasonable.
Sure. So this is a separate situation. So you are still in a desperate position.
Okay.
But you are equipped for this.
Mm.
So let's put it at standard effect.
Okay. So I will just take off my climbing equipment. Yep. And I think she'll most definitely be pushing herself for this, given it's the urgency of it all.
Okay. Do you want to add a die to the roll, or do you want to increase the level of effect?
I think I will add a die to the roll.
Okie dokie.
So we're on risky and... Oh no, it was desperate, wasn't it?
Yes, you are desperate because you are in a slightly separate situation.
Yeah. Desperate
Yeah.
standard. Okay. And then one extra dice.
A 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you do it, but you suffer a serious consequence. So this was standard, so we'll add 2 pips. I will do so as I'm thinking about this consequence real quick.
Does the unseen clock also move from the opening gambit from Bosk, by the way?
No, it does not because of the fact that he critted.
Right. Oh, right, that's filling in as they're ascending. Right, yes, my bad.
Yes, because they were their basis, just to reiterate, was going to be 2 pips. A standard success would have meant they would have only gotten 1 pip. Because he critted, they got 0 pips.
They ain't going nowhere, son.
No, they are.
Mhm.
They are having to rearrange their plans, as the case may be. However, one thing that you will now notice is that even though you were careful about the side that you went out on, Dash, you, in emerging and rising up one floor, realize that, oh, there are spirit wardens on this side of the house too. And you realize this as one of the lower level bluecoats calls out and says, "Hey, we got one that's trying to get up to the roof."
Just washing the windows.
And you note the fact that a couple of them are now starting to get out their own climbing gear.
Oh, hells.
Boy.
So I'm going to fill in a couple of pips there as part of your serious consequences. And there may be certain other things that happen as a result of that. They may not like the fact that there's a fly on the wall. But we'll see. So, who's up next?
I would like to do something narratively egregious.
Of course.
So, I've got some mold, and I've still got some caffeine, right?
Indeed you do.
Draco, dear GM, can I make a fungal cordyceps mind control bullet?
Interesting. I think this is going to take more than one round to do.
Absolutely.
I'm going to make this a 4-segment clock. You're not exactly working with the best equipment right now.
But I do have fine tinkering tools with me.
Oh, you do you? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so paint me a word story while I set up this clock of how you set this up and what you'd like to roll about it.
Right, so I think from this poofy product code, I just, like Fish, grabs a full-on alembic and Bunsen burner, manages to preen off the mold into one section of the alembic, injects the caffeine in the other, starts heating it up. At the same time, just gets out a gun that she had on her all this time, gets a bullet out, unscrews it, gets the gunpowder out, and then instead and waits for the mole to get to a nice broil. You want it to have like a nice steady temperature, not too much, but you want it broiling like a nice what's it called, what's the dish called?
You want
Where
it
you have-
simmering like a soup. You don't want it to
like
burn.
a soup, not like a comté. Is that what am I
A
thinking of?
compote?
Compote, yeah,
like
sure.
like a not a jam, but kind of like a berry sauce. Yeah.
Exactly, like a good moldy caffeinated sauce. And then I want to get it out with a syringe, inject it into the bullet, and whisper a curse or maybe an astral command into it.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to roll something about it to see how far through that process you can get. Because we do now have a clock for mind control bullet?
Mhm.
Question mark. So what would you like to roll about it?
Let's start with the with the actual alchemical portion of the equation. So I think let's start with tinker to
Sure.
get like the ingredients ready. And I think for the actual, because here's the thing, if you load up a bullet with fungus and you don't apply the correct blessing or boon, then you're just gonna have a poison bullet and not a mind control bullet. So
Yeah, sure.
I do want to avoid that.
So let's start with the tinker for this round,
Yeah.
and we'll come back to that as we make our way through the next round.
Sounds good. So I got a 2 in tinker. What does my fine tinkering tools give me?
So your fine tinkering tools increases the quality of the like the tier, the potency, the basically the effect level.
Okay.
So this is going to be a desperate situation still. This would have been a limited effect sort of thing, but I think the fine tools raise it to a standard effect because this is by no means a lab, and you are under a lot of stress. So yeah, we'll go desperate standard effect.
Does anyone have a devil's bargain for me?
Not yet. Maybe later.
Maybe. Yeah.
I have an idea for one.
Later. I think you're
Yeah.
probably at the same point that I would, yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna push myself yet. I think this is doable. Knocking on wood. Okay, here we go. Boom!
Well, there we
baby!
go. All right.
Delightful.
Nice. We love a 6.
We are knocking these desperate rolls out of the park tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we get 2 ticks of that clock. And sorry for having to drop a voice basically every time I do one of these clocks. It's I'm on push to talk, and my Roll20 does not like interacting with right-click menus if I've got my control button pushed. So,
Gotcha.
it's a whole thing. So yes, you get through the alchemical portion of this, and we will come back to that in the next round. Bosk, I think you were really just assisting our illustrious AU on the action.
Yeah,
during
we've
the
got
first
our opening play, and
Yeah.
I think AU. I think when there was like the change of clothes at the cafe, he's been wearing kind of like a reasonably smart waiter's outfit since, because that fits within what he would prefer to wear rather than. But he kind of very smartly goes down the front steps of the building and kind of walks up to one of the anti-ghost squad standing out front, being like, "You ever met a ghost?" And there's a visual gauge of reaction of whether there's a nod or a shake or a lowering of weapon or anything or like a leveling the weapon at him or anything like that.
Unfortunately, that's what the Spirit Wardens are here for, and they say as much. Pulling out their own sort of collapsible nightsticks that have a wire running off of them that connects to a battery pack on the back of their belts, and they crackle with electricity and electroplasm, saying that's what we're here to deal with, mate.
Oh, well, and he, with all the kind of like casualness in the world, just kind of like closes his hand calmly around the end of the electrified nightstick and forces a bolt of lightning through himself into the battery, detonating it. I'd like to use a skirmish as I just start immediately fighting the ghost rights in the street.
Okay, so skirmish, and let's see how effective this is, and I'll do a little bit of narration to get us there.
Yeah.
So, thanks to your previous actions, you are at a risky position. You have some interesting and unique circumstances. So we're going to say this is a standard effect.
Okay.
Simply because it's not well known that you are able to do this, and on top of that, rushing towards a fully kitted group of police officers is not exactly the kind of thing that they react to on a normal basis. So given what just happened with the guy getting boiled alive and you rushing them, they're not exactly sure what to do. So yeah, we're gonna go with risky standard.
Okay. Yeah. As I'm correcting with electricity. No bonus dice, I'm not pushing myself. Let's go. Fourth. Standard, like mixed success. So,
Success.
AU goes over to the guy, puts his hand calmly round the electrified nightstick and goes, boo. And there's a large bolt of electricity that forces back through him, electrocuting the guy and blowing up the massive battery pack on his back. Idiot.
Okay. So the result of this is that you basically resist the encroachment of the Unseen's forces. They do still get a single pip, but that is reduced by your standard effect from the 3 that it would have been, as they tried to come forward, and more of their forces are now starting to gather around. Having further exited the building, you can see, in fact, that they do have the building flanked. But this being said, their focus is now much more squarely on you. This feels like a place where I should start a new clock, but I'm not sure what to label it as.
What would it be representing?
This would be representing your more individual combat with them.
Okay. Well,
and this kind of turns it into a push me pull you with the Unseen reaching Angie.
Front of house fighting, possibly.
Distraction. How about that? Let's call it that. So, give me just a moment to set that up real quick. And if we want to decide who wants to go next while I do that, we will figure that out.
Do you wanna kind of follow up, Bask, now that we've started fighting for reals?
Yeah. Let's. If we're going out, we're going out. Just gonna dive in Wolverine style. And just as a quick reminder, I do have the ability to take on a small gang on equal footing.
Yeah. You just fight an entire gang like they're just one person. That's so rad.
Yeah.
So the way that I'm going to work this is that each time we go through a round, they're going to have opportunities to gain pips in the Unseen reaching Angie, and any actions that you do as part of your distraction can subtract from that. But there is a maximum amount of subtraction that you can do, if that makes sense. Just because, as I said before, they do have the house flanked. So, for instance, anybody who's going after Ms. Dash, you might not be able to distract those individuals. But
Right.
yeah.
Well, from here, what I probably would like to do is grab the nearest cop, the nearest blue coat, and kind of just bowling ball him into his compatriots to try and knock them back and all down.
So the gentleman with the teapot in his face
I
is
feel
going
bad, but also not so much.
I love it. Okay. You ever been so angry you hit a motherfucker with another motherfucker?
So I'm gonna skirmish this.
Okay. You are back to a desperate position.
Okay.
Your ability to take on multiple people at once, I think, is going to put you at standard effect. Again, the risk here is 3 pips.
Okay.
So let's see what you can do.
Before you roll, I would like to assist. AU and Bask have fought together side by side before, and there is a fun little team attack that they do on, like, I want to say, like, Bask's right arm. There are a couple of, like, metal rings with tension springs. I'm thinking of the kind of, like, tension springs you'd use when you were, like, exercising or whatever to build muscle strength. And what, like, AU does as a fun trick is kind of, like, tap one of the rings on his arm, and the big, like, sudden contortion of muscle makes that movement arm of the impact of the movement of the arm so much bigger. It's almost kind of like there's an additional electrical pulse through the neuron, like, nerves on that arm. So I'm going to add you an additional bonus die as you kind of wind up to do the shot. He just goes over and gives you a light tap on the shoulder, and then you have an electro fist.
Alright, so 1 bonus die. Shazam!
Ooh, not a
baby.
crit, but full success. Nice.
Okay. So, alrighty. They are they are righteously distracted. They do still get 1 pip because your standard effect is reducing it by 2. I'm not going to. How do I want to run this? Yes. Okay. So you toss this guy, and are you aiming for the blue coats who appear to be a little more shaken in their boots, or are you aiming for the spirit wardens who are a bigger threat? Basically, do you want to take out their physical portion, or do you want to try and scatter part of their forces and reduce the amount of effect they can have? No, actually, the spirit wardens are closer in general. It's just the 1 blue coat that they sent in as a guinea pig.
Then I would have targeted whoever is closest to me.
Okay, so spirit wardens it is. Okay, so they will be less effective in future then. How about that? Okay. As this guy goes bowling into a couple of the spirit wardens who were distracted by the explosion of their compatriot's battery just a moment ago. All right. Cool beans. Who's up next as I adjust clocks?
Dash, do you want to make another dash?
Yeah, I could do. While you're finishing your concoction. So I think Dash, having noticed the people sort of grappling up and starting to head up the side of the building as well, she will throw off her hat and in one hand sort of pick up the small demon, sort of look it deep in its eye, I assume, or whatever passes for
It's
one.
singular, sure.
Well, I mean, it was disguised as a seagull, but as you look in these beady little dark eyes, you see the deep darkness of space and the worlds beyond, filling it up with stars and all that wonderfulness.
Oh,
But,
so, so cute.
oh yeah, adorable. It squeaks at you a little bit.
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to opt for a because I try to vary my dice rolls up a bit. We'll be going for a consort check. As Dash is going to implore this demon to effectively burn brighter, but for a shorter time, while it's got this leash in the mortal realm to not back into its more natural form and try and deal with the people who are chasing her up the side of this roof.
Ooh, delightful.
So I've got consort. I've also got demon voice, so I increase the potency when communicating with supernatural.
Okay. So, as usual, oh no, actually, they've got reduced effectiveness right now. So its at risk is 2 pips on the unseen reaching Angie clock.
Mhm.
Let's see. You are at desperate position.
Oh, goody.
Because of your assistance from the demon, I think I'm going to set you at standard effect for the time being.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
what are you going to roll about it?
Yeah, let's see how that rolls for a consort. No bonus dice. Yes.
Still a 6.
Oh, we're knocking it out of the
Woo.
park.
Okay.
Come, my little friend, let's show these little humans what true terror looks like. She'll say with a grin, and yeah, as the form of this seagull suddenly starts to become a lot more mutable and warp.
Yeah, I think initially it's kind of almost a little bit cartoonish as the seagull becomes a little bit more massive and you start to see the feathers spreading apart to have a bit of a musculature underneath it. But that quickly gives way to horrific as the skin on its surface sort of tears away, revealing what kind of demon beneath.
I think it'll be a demon of the air, something that's feet that have never really touched the ground. So it's probably in place of having anything like no legs or anything. It'll just have like a double set of wings. It'll be this weird symmetrical 2 double sets of wings with 1 giant eye and then a sort of a slit of a mouth running down the extent of it.
Oh, okay, lovely. Something to scoop at the men below. And in that, yes, they go from maybe having a bit of a giggle at this to instantly the spirit wardens who are down there are, a couple of them are starting to pull out those electrified battens, but others are fiddling with, these devices that they had holstered on their other hip and trying to change over from a melee stance to a ranged stance and attaching these what look like electroplasmic pistols to their battery packs. The ones with the grappling hooks are unfortunately scooped by your demon, or I should say, unfortunately for them in any case. But now starting to get a better idea of what they're actually up against, the Spirit Wardens are still preparing, so they do get 1 out of the 3 possible pips. But in all of the confusion, you are able to climb an additional floor and are now nearing the roof. There's still probably at least 1 more round of this to go before you can deal with that situation. So, who's up next?
I would like to finish incanting my bullet.
Okie dokie. What are we rolling about that project?
I think nothing other than attune would apply, honestly, because it is a sort of a magical angle I'm using. I also happen to have 0 in attune.
Ooh, delightful.
Huh.
I did this to myself.
Okay.
That's not really nice.
I definitely have a devil's bargain for you here.
Right.
I mean, I think we probably have the same devil's bargain, but
Give me the banquet. I want to have a banquet.
So I think you can only take 1. So I guess we offer both, and you see which one you want to pick.
Sure.
Either.
Sure. Mine is that the bullet will be successful, but will have an additional effect.
I'm considerably more explicit. You gain a bonus die on the roll, but the person who gets to control the mind is not you.
Ooh.
Okay, I will say yes. It is a different. These are 2 different effects. I will say mine will make the control obvious. So those are your choices.
I'm like a little German boy in a pastry shop. Oh, what do I pick? Oh, what do I pick? Do I pick the one or the other? I want to go with the Draco. I would like to have your little strudel.
All
Delicious.
right. Okay, so you now have an extra die, but the control will be obvious.
Sick. I'm also gonna push myself. So that's 2 extra die. That puts me at 2 dice.
Okie dokie.
So it's gonna be desperate, and what else?
You still have appropriate tools for this, I believe. Yes.
I don't actually,
Oh.
because this isn't a tune. It's more of a magical angle, and I don't have anything to assist me with that.
You don't have like
see.
arcane implements on your little inventory list.
I could put that in. Yeah,
You could spend a point of load for that, certainly.
I'll load that up. Yeah,
Okay. So then we will make it a standard effect. So desperate standard.
sounds good. Standard. Bonus dice 2. Please work.
Mixed
Oh.
success.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. So you do it, but you suffer some serious consequences. What kind of consequences could I have here?
Because I already have one.
Well, there's one that's inherently a part of the bullet, but this I feel is going to be a consequence that's. You know what?
Mhm.
I think the control you're going to have over this is going to be imperfect.
Oh, interesting. I was gonna actually suggest. Like,
Okay. What do you got? What is this
I
suggestion?
was gonna like, what if there's like some, the person that is hit with a bullet can also control me a bit. It's like a mutual thing.
I like where you're going with it. I think mine works better for reasons yet to be revealed.
Okay, let's. Yeah, no, absolutely.
It'll make sense, I promise. Okay, so you now have this mind control bullet, and we'll have the chance to use it soon.
Sick. Okay. Yeah. No, that is my turn.
We return to the gunfight.
I'll loudly exclaim over like through like down the hallway, like, "Do not worry, I'm about to ruin everyone's day."
Excellent.
Including ours? I don't got time to worry
I
about this.
mean, you know. So, it's effectively top of the round. What do we got?
Let's see here. We're reaching a point where Arthur realizes that he should start moving back towards the recording room because he wants to be there for the broadcast. So he's going to start making good his exit. I think what that is going to be... Let's see here. Yeah. I am going to go and tick a vial of slumber essence as one of the things on my list. He starts to kind of like after having kind of like let the electrocuted spirit warden kind of drop to the ground. This turns to the remaining who are starting to get nervous, I suppose, and be like, "I'm afraid that is all the time we have for this evening. I have a radio show to attend," and just almost like lobbing a grenade. Just overarm lobs this jar of slumber essence, into the group of spirit wardens as I continue my skirmish.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
Could I offer a potential change and assist on this? Just
Go ahead.
Pretty much the same effect, probably triggering it being different, but Dash threw a hat off the edge of the building. I like the idea that we might have a quick flashback, and that's where the vial was hidden in the first place, and it just landed behind them without them actually realizing. Just like, it's a witch's hat. Who cares?
Okay. Yeah. Give Dash a little bit of stress for an extra die. I like the idea. So it works for you. It works for me.
Okay. So.
That's a lot of stress.
Well, that's the name of the game, baby.
How it is. We're going to be rolling a skirmish. What's the position and effect?
Okay, so you're in Desperate Effect. I think this is going to give you... this is Desperate Position. Your escape is guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
The effect level here is only going to be limited, however.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. If it makes them sluggish and shitty at fighting, that's good too.
Yeah, it's still going to slow them down, but this is not necessarily the best thing to do. But the one thing I am going to give you is that you are guaranteed to exit this situation and get back upstairs.
Mm-hmm. It's 2 pips with 2 bonus dice. We stand solid odds. Let's go!
Okay.
That's a full 6, baby. Time to take a nap.
Okie dokie. So, the unseen do get, because as the case may be, as they were at reduced effect already, you remove another pip, so they do only get 1. And you are headed back upstairs. You will get there at the top of the next round, I believe. And moving right along. The gas does burst as you make your wonderful one-liner and cause some additional confusion amongst their ranks. So, who's up next, and how do you want to take advantage of that situation?
I think I'll go up next, but the question I have is, so and Angie's house, is there a fence in front of us, or is it just like open to the street?
No, there is in fact a fence around it, and that's where most of the fighting has been happening so far.
Okay. Are we fighting inside the fence or outside the fence?
Just inside the fence.
Okay.
At this point.
So, I want to... You know what? What I really want to do is I have manacle and chains on me. I want to see if I can push to the fence and lock it with those.
Ooh, okay. All right. Go for it.
I'm going to say still skirmish just because I'm fighting through whoever's up there.
Sure. Yeah, sure. There are a couple of spirit wardens who've started to make their way inside that are probably the ones that are, currently trying to deal with the effects of this gas.
Still desperate?
Yeah, still desperate. You have a tool, so we're going to call this standard effect.
Okay.
You might just block them from getting any further progress for the time being, since they would normally be getting 2 pips at this point.
And do remind me, because it's been a little bit, if I push myself, I can add a bonus die?
2 stress
Yes.
for a bonus die, yeah.
2 stress for a bonus die, or to increase the level of the effect. You're already, if you succeed, canceling out their effect for the round, or for your turn, I should say. So adding the bonus die would probably be your best bet.
Yeah, so I'll do the 2 stress, I'll add a bonus die.
Okay.
Oh, mixed. But still good. We got what you want.
Yeah, alright.
Okay, so you get what you want. They do not get any pips to the unseen reaching Angie clock. This is going to max out your distraction clock. But the serious consequence, I think, here is that as you are locking the gate up, one of the blue coats sort of, who appears to be... Oh, no, okay, you know what? The Star himself, because he is here, whacks one of the blue coats on the back of the head as he moves past and says, "Oh, this is just the physical part of the issue. You don't need to worry about taking care of these." And I think he slams his boot into the gate as you're doing this, and while you have blocked their progress for this turn, you are going to take level 1 harm from the impact.
Okay.
Ooh, he's strong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a beefy boy. He's about as beefy as Bosk is. And so yeah, you get a wrought iron gate to the face, and your knuckles get a little bit crunched. So, how do we? What kind of injury feels good for this?
Just real quick, does my tough as nails negate any of this?
Read it.
Penalties from harm are 1 level less severe.
So you do still need to mark the harm.
Okay.
Because harm is cumulative here.
Also, I do have that floating pip of armor.
Yeah, I was
You
gonna bring
do
that
have
up.
that floating pip of armor.
You can spend that to negate the harm entirely.
Just no
You
sell that
could.
attack.
Done and
Wow.
done.
You can't hurt me. I'm on drugs.
Oh, what a campaign this has turned
I am
into.
full of drugs and booze. I am unstoppable.
Yes.
Sounds like a Saturday night to me.
Oh, this is beautiful. Oh my goodness. All right, so yeah, I think, like in the star's eye, you see a little bit of respect for this fact that you just absolutely no sell this, and he's the kind of guy who is used to, like, you know, if this was a normal sized person, they would have been thrown backwards by that kid, and he was ready for you to be able to take a little bit of it because he's boxed before. But he gets no reaction. He's just like, all right, fair play. Okay, so there we are. Now, the end of the distraction clock does mean that they're going to be acting a little more directly at this point, and so their effectiveness at moving along the unseen reaching Angie clock is going to be a little more effective. So they're going to be back up to 3 pips on further actions. But let's see if Dash can reach the roof in a reasonable amount of time.
I think at this point she's probably just going to be putting all care to the wind and just attempting to climb as fast as she can. Keep wanting to push myself, but that'll definitely push me into trauma, which feels like not a good
don't
look.
pass out and fall off the roof, please.
Yeah.
But those juicy extra dice, Dash.
I know. And I'm sure her getting on the roof and then suddenly suffering some horrific trauma is going to work really well for everyone. But it is extra dice.
Do what your heart tells you, friend.
I mean, there's always a devil's bargain.
There is a devil's bargain. I might ask for that then if there's one going. Given I suspect she is a bit fraught at the moment, given people are about to be pointing guns at her and her summons.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
You get that, like, inner motivation to kind of get to the top of the roof and jam the antenna knife in there, but you unwittingly make yourself a magical conduit for something that's going to happen shortly.
Oh, that's going to go really well with all the runes and stuff that she's got on her.
Thanks for revealing that story detail.
Anytime. Yeah, I will take that. So we've got, what's my desperate and...
We'll do desperate standard because you are on climbing gear. So,
Okay.
you know, I don't think I could argue for anything else.
Okay, then I'll take my 1 bonus dice. Oh dear.
Ooh.
Oh dear.
Okay, well.
1, 2, 3, come and hand it to me because you look so fine. Now you're really gonna die.
Whew.
Oh, this
Okay.
could be
Interesting. So, here's the thing. Your flying demon is still out and about. And I think that as part of this devil's bargain, I'm going to do a couple of things.
bad.
One,
Okay.
I'm going to give you a long-term consequence.
Oh, wonderful.
But I am actually going to give you the successes you need to get up to where you need to get them. So, as these spirit wardens finally get their electroplasmic pistols hooked up, they begin firing on the demon, giving off these sort of beams of electroplasmic energy that hit it, and they are very carefully trying to both damage and use the beams to pull the demon down out of the air. This thing, however, is having none of it and comes screaming back towards you because, as far as it's concerned, you're its pathway back home. And given what those runes are supposed to be, you sure are.
Wonderful.
But it's not quite a complete process. Because, as I said before, it was going after the guys with the grappling hooks, so it was on the ground. So it hits you from below, sending you up and arcing over onto the rooftop. But, as a result of this, you also now have 2 pairs of non-functional wings sticking out of you.
Lovely.
Sick.
Demon possession, let's go.
So we'll deal with that in the future.
Come
You know.
through, Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Okay.
Probably a scream from the roof.
Oh yeah. And I think you still have enough control over yourself to take that anti-knife and jam it into the blue cable, mere feet from your feet. And we will go ahead and deal with that now. Allow me to do a bit of a changeover behind the scenes as the transmitter comes squawking back to life as AU comes into the room.
We should probably resolve. Well, I'll
That's
ask...
exactly what I'm doing.
No. With Fish's mind bullet thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
We want to do that at exactly the same time?
Because there's something that's probably going to resolve. We're also starting to approach the end of our runtime, Ruben.
Well, that's what I was going to do. I was going to
Yeah.
give you the option to hold on to that bullet for what's coming the next time so that we could resolve this session here.
You all right with that, Ruben?
Ooh, well.
Because you can hold on to that, and I can guarantee you there will be an option to use it in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we have completed our goal, so let's pocket that little boy for now.
Okay, go for it. Draco, tell me what happens in the Electrovox room.
Sure thing.
Only good things. It'll be fine.
Where's the tea time theme? There we are, back on the air, my lovely listeners. Welcome back to Tea Time with Aunt Angie. Come in and sit down because I've got some piping hot tea for you, Aunt Angie says as she spots you coming into the room. She is already on the microphone. Those of you who are outside right now, I believe it is Bosk, and you can probably still hear it from where you're at, Dash. You can hear that one of the officers did in fact have a radio tuned to the correct frequency, so you're getting this broadcast as well. As we all know by now, that private shindig at Vreen's Hound Racetrack turned into the social event of the season. Ever since the whole thing exploded, the movers and shakers of our fair city's underworld have been moving and shaking things much more loudly than usual. With the tower fallen, that left the star to shine his burning light in the darkness, and oh, how he has burned. Why, even now he brings his brightness against my very own doors in search of those who created the absence he now fills. I am here to tell you, dear listeners, that I have proof that those he seeks are not the ones hiding under my petticoats. If you can hear this star, I'm more than willing to end this kerfuffle by opening my doors to you. If you're willing to give a fated dame the time of night, that is. We're all smiles in here, and I think you will be too, if you just step inside and spill some tea with me. And she winks at you, AU.
Arthur goes and ticks find cover identity, and in a perfect kind of replication of Aunt Angie's voice, slides in. I like the even though this is definitely not a setting that his wheelie chairs, just slides in a chair and goes, in fact, I do have certain information, if you are in the pursuit of bounty hunting out there, that there is actually a bit of a tip that you might be able to find those people you're seeking. If you're ready for a bit of a rumble, I hear they are quite dogged in a fist fight. No, not in firearms. They ain't no cowards. If you head over to the Coal Ridge district near to the processing plant, they have been holding up there for the last couple hours trying to hide the time away, but they can't hide from Aunt Angie's eyes.
Well, you heard it straight from the horse's mouth. Let's do some business, boys. And I think that's where we're going to end for the evening. With the star setting, waving to the blue coats and the spirit wardens to maybe hold off on what they've got going on. And he turns to Bosk and says, "All right, let's take a step inside and see what you got to say." And so that's going to be it for this episode of Escape to the Void Sea.
I shoot myself with the bullet. I throw myself.
Well, I mean, if you're serious, we can resolve that next time here on. No.
Mind control feedback loop. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Let's
So
go.
thank you for... Oh, yeah. Thank you for creating some wonderful, interesting situations tonight. I'm going to have some interesting things to add to the next session.
Oh, my poor character.
Well, the things that we do to make sure that we survive. Goodness me. Let's go and move over to the weight screen very briefly while we go and wrap up our bits and pieces. How about you all go and introduce advertise yourselves if there's anything you would like to advertise while I go and prepare for who we be raiding. So, our illustrious GM, Draco, why don't you tell us where can we find you in your work?
Sure thing. You can find me and my work at World of Vania on Twitter. That's Vaenia, Vania. I also do stream every other Saturday on here on Twitch at Come and Go Tavern under the name of Sheila Ornthalis, the lovely goblin madam of the Come and Go Tavern herself. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Ruben, why don't you go and tell us what go on with you?
Tank, fly, boss, walk, jam, nitty gritty. You listen to the boy from the big back city, and that city is Doskfall. Hi, I'm Ruben. You can find me on Twitter at UrbanFriendDen. That's double D Den. And you can also check out my fiction. I write a lot about anti-colonial queer stories on thefriendden.net. Thank you.
I know, Tom and Captain, you're less likely to do, or less inclined for self-promotion, but I will give you the opportunity.
Yeah, nothing too much to report other than the eternal workings of the Library of Runa TTRPG, which I was going to do some work on today, but then fell into a Stellaris pit, which I feel very guilty for.
That tracks.
fault.
That tracks. That's fine.
Yeah, and I'm just a humble enjoyer of stuff, so I don't really put out content. Sorry, y'all.
No, it's all good. It's all good. You don't have to be making content for other people. To be honest, it's kind of less stressful if you don't. But
how do you do that? How do you enjoy a normal life?
Yeah, I know, right? God.
I'm sorry, I don't understand that question. I watch things and then psychoanalyze it with my friends. That's how you enjoy stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
You go and do a video essay about it. I am your androgynous android game show host from the future, Nathan Blades. You've been tuning in to the Neoncaster Twitch channel. We're going to go and pass it over to a recent PNG tuber, Spin Cut, who is streaming Otogi Myth of Demons, which is some delightful 2003 Xbox Kusoge. You absolutely should go and tune into that kind of trash. We're going to go and prepare that raid for yous now. Everybody go and say goodbye, and we'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Help!